You're watching The American on ESPN+. Beautiful Tampa, Florida. The Bulls ready to go, and USF fans with their first look at their team since a season-opening statement win over Boise State. They welcome last year's MEAC champion South Carolina State, who are combined 11-4 under their second-year head coach, Janice Berry. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, South Florida comes out of the gauntlet. They're 2-1. They were in the top 25 for just 1 week. Now looking to get back on track against a football team who's won a lot of games.
Well, you mentioned they had the brutal schedule for USF to start the season. So to be at 2-1, I think that's good things to come for them. On the other side, for South Carolina State, they need a statement win. This is the second FBS team they've played in 4 weeks. So would not be surprised if they can figure out a way to keep this game close because they're well coached.
It's been a 2-quarterback system for South Carolina State. But last week, it was all about Ryan Stubblefield.
Yeah, and Stubblefield, he looked terrific in spots last week. Had 286 yards passing and the 1 touchdown. He's a guy that's a dual threat guy, can beat you with his legs as well. They need him to start fast today. They're expecting big things out of Stubblefield. But you mentioned the 2 lineup. We will see another quarterback as well in Billy Atkins.
Well, and they've got to take care of the football against a defense who loves to take it away. James Chenault picks in each of the last 2 weeks.
He's looked fantastic. He's a young player, just a sophomore, but boy, does he play over his size. Had that interception last week against Miami, had a pick against Florida as well. He's a top-notch shutdown corner.
Let's check in with the third member of our team, Maria Trivalpiece.
Well, Chucky, you mentioned South Florida's early success, and that's because the Bulls have been process-oriented. Head coach Alex Goller said it has been a focus of his team this season to not focus on the outcome, but just focus week in and week out on how they go about their process. He said it's worked so far. Even after the Miami loss, they addressed what they needed to, but then the players came back and said, Coach, look, enough talking about Miami. It's time to get ready now for South Carolina State.
Back-to-back bowl wins for Alex Golesh in his first 2 seasons, but they have raised the standards even further in year number 3. It is a hot one in Tampa. Heat index near 97 during the game. It is currently 91 and partly cloudy, but a beautiful day to be up in the booth in the air conditioning in Tampa, Florida.
We'll definitely take the AC, but when it's 90 degrees out, it really becomes about hydration. And that hydration, Chucky, it actually starts early in the week. So when you see guys cramping up or a little bit out of sorts, it's because they didn't hydrate Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday earlier in the week. So we'll see who put the work in here today with these student athletes.
Adam Zuaji tees it up and boots it downfield. It'll go into the end zone for a touchback. It's a little bit awkward there right at about the 1-yard line. But South Carolina State will take a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. That's where we will get our first look at Ryan Stubblefield, 6 foot, 205-pound graduate student from Houston, Texas. He's had a couple stops before this, started his career at East Carolina, then to Incarnate Word before joining the South Carolina State team a year ago. But he looks at this like this is his opportunity to be the guy.
And that's the beautiful thing for both of these quarterbacks, including Stubblefield. It's still up in the air as to who the starter is moving forward. So today, Ryan needs to make a statement that he can be the guy for the Bulldogs.
Stubblefield in the backfield with KZ Adams and Jordan Smith, one of the receivers. A whistle already. Looked like the indicator was a false start.
There is no foul in the play.
Never mind. The officials, hey, they got to warm up too. You got to get the flag going a little bit. We
It's
almost
early.
heard from Edwin Lee, our referee. First play, a run to the right side, and not much doing there as Jordan Smith is gobbled up by Fred Gaskin.
Gaskin does a nice job coming out of his safety position. You will see number 5 down for the Bulldogs. Let's talk impact players. KZ Adams, the running back for South Carolina State, and Josh Salazar, number 63, the defensive tackle for the Bulls.
Big Josh Salazar from Texas A&M transferred in, helping fill the gap left by a couple big names on that defensive line a year ago. 2nd and 9, Stubblefield rolling. He had a man downfield, but might have already been past the line. He is a true dual threat, though. Picks up 10 on the ground, and they move the chains.
It's a nice job recognition. It really was the play fake there that got the defense up. So a nice job by Stubblefield taking what the defense gave him after that play fake and picking up the first down. And this is what really has to happen for South Carolina State to start this game fast. They need their quarterback to be able to make decisive decisions in these early downs to keep them on schedule.
This Bulldogs offense scored 27 points in the first 20 minutes last week against Bethune-Cookman. A fast starting team would love to do it again on the road in Tampa. Stubblefield rolling, looking for options, and what a grab! One-handed catch by DeAndre Ruffin on the sideline. Wow!
What an incredible catch from Ruffin here. Stubblefield got rushed on the pass as he was rolling out, so he wanted to throw it a little bit later, but had to throw it quick. And a heads-up play from Ruffin to catch that ball with one hand to pick up the first down. And this is a part of what this offense loves and the staff loves about Stubblefield is his ability to be able to extend plays as a runner and also hit the short passes to keep the chains moving.
9 different players caught a pass from Stubblefield last week against Bethune-Cookman. That is off the chest of Jalen Johnson, who has been an excellent addition from Grambling State.
An uncharacteristic drop for him in this case. That ball hit him in the chest. It's one of the coaching points for wide receivers in those short routes. You got to get your hands up to catch the football versus letting that football come to your chest because it can bounce off. That's one Johnson's going to want to have back because he's been sure-handed through most of the season and one of their big playmakers.
3 of their receivers in double digits in receptions already, Johnson, Ruffin, and Jordan Smith. Pickett, Hicks, and Adams in the backfield. And it's a keeper for Stubblefield, who slides down around the 46-yard line. They'll mark him a little short of that at the 47 to set up 3rd and manageable.
So one of the things they love about Stubblefield is his ability as a runner. Fred Gaskin that time, the safety, came down. Stubblefield had to make his read off the safety. Made it decisively to bring up a 3rd and short situation.
Ryan Stubblefield has not played a lot of football. Didn't play in his first 3 seasons at East Carolina. Went to Incarnate Word. Sat behind Zach Calzada, who is now at Kentucky. Came here last year. Was behind the first ever HBCU National Player of the Year, Eric Phoenix. Stubblefield airing it out downfield, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. Jordan Smith goes up and pulls it in.
What an incredible one-on-one win for Smith on the outside, working against Jarvis Lee there. One of the things that Coach Barry told us about this offense is they have playmakers all the way across the field, extending it on the outside. Nice drive so far for the Bulls.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Ryan Stubblefield and company, who is orchestrating a fantastic opening drive against South Florida. Hands it off up the middle. Let's check in with Maria on more on Ryan Stubblefield.
Well, Ryan Stubblefield may not have played too much yet in his college career, guys, but when I talked to him earlier in this week, he was so confident. He told me that he believes in this offense and what Coach Barry is doing, and he hoped to bring it to the field here today, and it seems like he's doing that already.
What a great opportunity for him, and they've played some big games already this season, but he just seems to be growing in confidence.
Well, it's exciting, too, because when we had a chance to sit with Coach Barry, he just talked about a lot of these young men doing things in the community as well and developing the player as a whole. So it's exciting to see these guys compete.
Adams in motion. Stubblefield, little stick route right at the 11-yard line, and the receiver, Ruffin, knocked down at the 8 to set up 1st and goal. Todd Orlando, the South Florida defensive coordinator, really praised what this offense does for South Carolina State. He said, we're really impressed with the way they're coached and what they do.
Yeah, they are a well-coached team for sure. I mean, you saw them against South Carolina a couple of weeks ago where they were in that game through most of it, especially part of the first half. So this is a team that knows how to compete with FBS teams. They got players all the way across the board at the moment.
Lost a season ago in the Celebration Bowl to Jackson State, but the expectation is this is a really good football team again. Not much doing there for Jordan Smith on the wide receiver handoff. Chenault makes the stop. There is Chemisberry, year 2. He is just an absolute winner. 11-4 in his time at South Carolina State, and now his second season, 38-11 overall as a head coach. Had great success at Benedict, a Division II school. He brought a lot of his staff and players from that team to help set the foundation here a season ago.
Sure did. Was an offensive line coach, able to make that transition and hasn't lost a conference game. You see that? Hasn't lost a conference game in quite a long time. He's dynamic.
Stubblefield trying to cap the drive. It's picked off. He was hit. And South Florida has a lot of room to run down the sideline. Mac Harris, one of the big linebackers. He's going to take it the distance. What a turn of events for South Florida.
Well, Chucky, that's one way to take the life out of the Bulldogs from this impressive drive to start. Jarvis Lee, number 0. He's the guy that's going to come in and hit the quarterback. And Mac Harris is the one who picks it off and takes it the distance. And look at Lee. He's down the field, number 0. He makes the key block in the end, all the way to the end zone. That's a team effort, and what a big play for the Bulls.
Nico Gramatica on for the extra point. 5.5 minutes in, it looked like South Carolina State was going to take an early lead on South Florida, but it's a defense that's been top 15 in turnovers forced each of Todd Orlando's first 2 seasons. Mac Harris off the hit, the pick, and he goes the distance.
Welcome back in. We just saw this play from Mac Harris, courtesy of Jarvis Lee hitting the quarterback. Mac Harris takes this 93 yards all the way down the sideline into the end zone. For more on Mac Harris, let's go down to Maria.
Full coaching staff from South Florida told us that Mac Harris is the vocal leader of this defense. Mac Harris himself said that he wants to set an example for the younger guys with his work ethic and the way he shows up every single day. The coaches told us that he does hold guys accountable and the defense goes when he goes. We just saw that happen, guys.
Please set the game clock to 9:26.
This is his
9:26.
50th career game as a Bull.
Experience, and you can tell he plays lights out. Him and Jalen Schuler, number 7, they're best friends. They're super close, but they are the heartbeat of this defense. We've talked a lot about the takeaways of the Bulls and what they do defensively. You got a knack for it. You know, we asked Coach, is there something you do in practice to simulate these turnovers? And he said it's a product of hard play that all his players do, but they do it week in and week out, and they are great with the takeaways.
Now Ryan Stubblefield, who orchestrated that 10-play, 70-yard drive that ended in the worst way imaginable, back out there for his second drive. That's a 3-yard carry by KZ Adams. Well, Ryan Stubblefield looked fantastic.
He did look good. He certainly looked good. They got him in that one pressure moment to force the interception. But if you're South Carolina State right now, what worked was mixing in the pass and the run and giving Stubblefield an opportunity to pick up plays with his legs. So hopefully they stick with that moving forward despite the turnover. And you see the Bulls, the defense, 12 consecutive games with a turnover, the 4th longest streak in FBS. They are dynamic in this area.
Tackles for loss and turnovers, and I think some of that goes hand in hand as receiver dragged down about 1.5 yards short by Schuler. Jalen Johnson on the grab.
Nice job by Tyler Smith there, the running back, picking up the blitz protection there to give Stubblefield a little extra time to moving his wide receivers around.
3rd and 1 yard. South Carolina State already converted once today.
They're trying to respond to that touchdown. They really need to put together another big drive.
Jumbo package. 3 backs in the backfield. Handoff up the middle. That'll get the job done to the 31. And they move the chains for the second time on 3rd down.
That's Casey Fields, the big back for them. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds. Nice job picking up the short yardage there. James Riddick, number 50, the center, had a nice block on the inside, and James is one of those guys who has earned the respect of his teammates. He's done a fantastic job running that offensive line for South Carolina State.
This is almost an entirely new starting offensive line. The lone returner, Roger Smith, the left guard, who's a preseason all-conference pick in the MEAC. Tyler Smith is the back. Stubblefield rolling outside and throwing just short of the 30-yard line. Nice run after the catch to the 41. Nick Brown, one of the big tight ends, on the grab.
Nice job by Brown there, but you see why they love Stubblefield. His ability to be able to improvise on the move, just to get outside the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. It's one of the things they missed with Billy Atkins, was just that ability to be able to extend plays and keep the play alive.
1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Stubblefield certainly making his case to be the guy. Chenisberry said typically it'll be 4 or 5 weeks and then they'll make their decision, but Stubblefield has looked really good. Nowhere to go on the run. First one to get there on the play was Kawan Banks.
And what we saw last series for South Florida was that the pressure was the thing that caused the turnover. So for South Florida, it'd be interesting to see when they dial up that pressure again to try to rush the throws of Ryan Stubblefield, because it helped them on that last series to create the turnover. Jalen Schuler, number 7, he's one of the guys, their linebacker. They like to blitz him down the middle of this defense.
2nd and 9, false start. That's going to move back South Carolina State, who's already picked up.
False start. Number 55, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Rondé Marsh, the right guard. They've already picked up 6 first downs in this first quarter.
This is one of the things that really kills drives, though. Self-inflicted wounds. They got Marsh. He's a true freshman at the right tackle position, number 55. They need him to mature quickly to keep themselves in this football game.
Tyler Smith next to Stubblefield, trying to set up a screenplay. USF was all over it, and that's going to set up 3rd and very long.
There they go, dialing up that pressure again with Fred Gaskin.
Let's go down to Maria with more on South Carolina State.
Well, head coach Barry wants to make sure that these young men are prepared when they graduate and leave the football field. So he goes by something called the A, B, C's, and D's. He wants his guys to get A's and B's in the classroom, championships on the field, and degrees as well, so that when they go into the world, they're great young men and great leaders. So really focusing on the full student-athlete experience at South Carolina State.
You can talk about that, and then you can be about it. And from everything we've heard around this program, Chennis Berry is about it. Stubblefield forced out, and he is sacked from behind. Trayvon Mitchell, his first sack of the season, a transfer from Division II West Florida.
They like Trayvon. He gives Devin Lee a break every time, and he's number 8, just going to come to the right of this offensive line and get to those legs of Ryan Stubblefield to get him down. Nice job defensively from the Bulls. And again, that penalty, going back to that penalty, that false start penalty, just can kill drives in these situations.
Elliot Janish is the punter. Gets a spiraling kick away toward Alvon Isaac, who fumbles it, and it's going to go out of bounds. Fortunately, that would have been fantastic field position for the Bulldogs. We'll get our first look at Byram Brown in this USF offense in just a moment. Welcome back to The American on ESPN+. The land of the Bulls, and the man leading the charge for the first time on offense today is the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, Byram Brown, who makes his return after missing the majority of last season due to injury. He has thrown for 747 yards this season, 4 total touchdowns, and just the 1 interception he threw last week at Miami. 1st and 10 for Brown and company near the 33-yard line, rolling out, looking downfield, and throwing a dangerous ball intended for the talented freshman Christian Neptune. I think Incomplete on 1st and 10. Well, Byron Brown returns, and that's a big reason why there's so much hype around this South Florida program.
They are so excited about him as a football player. His command of this offense, as we take a look at the impact players on both sides. Byron Brown gets back to the line of scrimmage. Take another look at these impact players, but Cole Best, their senior center, they talk a lot about his leadership, vocal leadership on their team. He's number 72, right there in the middle of this offensive line. He is dynamic and a vocal leader that will help encourage his teammates if they need encouraging to continue to play tough and hard.
5th year at South Florida, so he's been through the low times, and now he is benefiting on the rise up under Alex Golish. Brown looking downfield, and that is dropped by Neptune. And a drive that amounts to absolutely nothing for the Bulls, a team who just scored their first quarter touchdown moments ago on the interception return. They have not scored an offensive touchdown in the first quarter yet.
Well, you have to think they might be sitting on the sidelines just a little bit rusty all the way across the board, but for Neptune, that's one you have to catch. You got to help your quarterback there and pull that football in. So the young freshman, the young talented freshman, with his first miscue of this game, got to pull that one in. That could have been a big play to set themselves up.
Chase Leon, the punter. Jalen Johnson deep to return. Leon averaging over 46 yards per punt this season. That is fair caught at the 20-yard line by Johnson. 7-0 South Florida. Just one defensive touchdown in the first 11 minutes.
Timeout on the field.
Tonight, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. The world will be watching. Stream WrestlePalooza on the ESPN app tonight.
South Carolina State back out for their third offensive drive. Here goes Stubblefield with space and blockers as he slides down across the 45-yard line, tackled by Tavin Ward. Stubblefield loses his hat, so we will see Billy Atkins the fourth for the first time here, not planned.
But we've seen Stubblefield do this 2 times now in this game. Pull that read off of the safety. Fred Gaskin that time, number 5, came down. Stubblefield pulled his read after seeing him. And the spot the safety vacated was where Stubblefield got up the field to pick up the first down.
Atkins with one back in the backfield, the freshman Mason Pickett-Hicks. Atkins looking to throw it on a little crosser, comes into the game, hits an open receiver, and they pick up about 9 yards. Johnny Jones on the grab, tackled by Deshaun Rucker. Job done for Billy Atkins.
Yeah, it's a nice throw there, but Mason Pickett, the running back, missed the block that time. Allowed them to come in and take a big shot on Billy Atkins. You don't want your quarterback getting hit, so the young running back needing to understand the situation there to pick up the protection instead of going out on his route. But a nice job by Billy Atkins getting thrown into the fire there to make a nice throw.
They love Billy Atkins' arm, but Stubblefield is the true dual threat quarterback. Jones in motion, they hand it off to him going the other way, and there's great speed on the South Florida defense. Jarvis Lee makes the tackle.
He has been coming lights out in this game so far. They're blitzing the nickel every time. Jarvis Lee, number 0, comes in, takes on the running back, and then gets the quarterback to get him down. Nice job by the junior out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Lee has been here since the start of the Alex Golesh era in his 3rd season at USF, his 29th game since arriving in Tampa. 3rd and 6. South Carolina State 2 for 3 on 3rd downs. This is a tough spot. Here comes the pressure. Stubblefield stepping up and dragged down from behind by Mac Harris, who has had a huge impact on this game so far.
The blitz is really working for the Bulls defensively. Mac Harris and Jalen Shuler that time both blitzed up. And Harris is the one who gets home. Watch 24, he's one-on-one with the running back. Gets over the guy to grab that jersey of Stubblefield and get him down. You have to be able to try to keep your load and protect at the running back position with getting low, not allowing guys to step over you in that matter. Big time play for the Bulls.
South Carolina State has had the ball all but 50 seconds in this first quarter, and they trail 7-0. Here's Alvon Isaac with plenty of space on the kick return, and nice coverage to stop him at the 32-yard line. That has been a point of emphasis for South Carolina State. They have allowed numerous special teams touchdowns. Last week was actually the first game this season they had not allowed a special teams touchdown.
Yeah, the kicking game is so vital, especially in these close matchups where you have 2 teams playing hard. But we saw 3 and out last series for the Bulls. Byron Brown's going to want to try to get this going on offense. They play a number of different running backs, Chucky. You'll see Isaac, you'll see Norton in the backfield as well. They got some tandems.
This is Isaac on the carry up the middle. That was something they told us. They want to run the football this week. They really struggled, especially last weekend against Miami. 27 carries, 40 yards. And Brown, who typically can get free at his quarterback spot, had a long rush of 6.
They were really bottled up a week ago. They lost that line of scrimmage battle.
Isaac cutting through some good blocking that time, only gets 3 in the end, and it's a quick 3rd down scenario as the clock ticks down toward the end of the first quarter.
This is what they were hoping for out of this offensive line. Cole Best that time, remember, he's our impact player, number 72. He had a nice block to give Isaac some space.
And they move the chains on 3rd and 4. A little slant pattern. And Brown connecting to the 50-yard line. That's Keyshawn Singleton, the junior from Norcross, Georgia.
Wonderful job by Singleton there, running that slant route to the middle of the defense. Settle down to be able to pick up the first down.
Hand off to Isaac, who is hit hard by Zane Dunham, junior linebacker from Chester, South Carolina.
Now you see Neptune, number 81 at the bottom of the screen. He's one of the guys they like to feature for shots. That'll be the end of the first quarter. We've got a 7-0 game. Bulls leading the Bulldogs. More football on the other side.
7-0 after the first quarter, thanks to South Florida, who has totaled just 20 yards to 105 on the other side for South Carolina State, but somehow find themselves in the lead thanks to some big defensive plays, couple sacks, another tackle for a loss, and that pick six by Mac Harris. The long-term concern would be just getting this offense up and firing, though.
Yeah, it's the rhythm thing that they're sort of out of right now for the Bulls offensively. They just haven't really been out there. They had one series where they went 3 and out, trying to drive a little bit now, but needing to find some rhythm on offense.
2nd and 7 to start the second quarter. Kind of an awkward-looking play as Brown is hit by Michael Lunds as he throws, incomplete.
Lunds has been terrific. He made a ton of plays a few weeks ago against South Carolina, number 11. He's a graduate senior there. 6'3", 245 pounds. They need big things out of the big fella on the edge.
Transferred in from Tulane. He'll pin the ears back here. 3rd and 7.
You'll see Jordan Dollard here at the top of the screen, number 9. He's standing up. He's the guy that they love to bull rush.
Brown, time, throwing over the middle. Big hit and picked off. Zane Dunham, right place, right time as that ball was knocked away from the intended target, Wyatt Sullivan.
Roughing the pass,
but there
number
is
11, defense, 15-yard penalty,
Wow.
automatic first down.
Mari Reed, number 1. He's the guy that comes in and lays the hit. Now it looked like from here, it was all shoulder pad on the hit. But you'll see, we just talked about Michael Luntz, number 11. No need to throw the quarterback down at the end. Unfortunate circumstances for South Carolina State, but
One on the box,
big
one on
hit
the box.
from Shamari Reed there, negated by the penalty. So this is the second big penalty we've seen from South Carolina State on offense. We saw the false start stall their drive, and now extending the drive on defense because of a penalty. You gotta play clean football to remain close in these type of football games.
Brown gonna take off and run up the middle, lowering the shoulder at the 25-yard line. Physical run from the quarterback for 7 yards.
It's just nice recognition from Byron Brown here, understanding that the defense is all bailing out. You see that secondary line. Those linebackers all bailed in coverage. Nice job trying to pick up some positive yards there.
Isaac somehow staying on his feet, and they're gonna move the chains after that tough run by Alvon Isaac. Gainesville native, just a sophomore, but their top running back through the first few games.
He's also good in the passing game as well as a receiver.
Brown looking over the middle, open man, touchdown, South Florida. Jonathan Eccles, his first touchdown grab of the season, just made his season debut a week ago at Miami.
A tremendous double move from the tight end, Eccles. Nice job by Brown selling it on the double move. He's gonna pump fake here. Throw that slant route right to the end zone. Big time play for the Bulls.
Gramatica to make it 14-0, and he does.
This is one of the things they love about Byron Brown. You give him an opportunity, he's gonna find his guy. Eccles, the recipient of the big touchdown. Bulls are rocking and rolling, 14-0. All right, welcome back in. On the other side, we saw this touchdown. You see the pump fake here from Byron Brown. It gets the safety up. Watch that secondary defender. He's caught looking in the backfield after that pump fake. Makes an easy pitch and catch to Nichols to extend the lead for the Bulls.
They get the offense going after a slow start and now lead 14-0 early in the second quarter against South Carolina State. We mentioned their second FBS opponent in these first 4 weeks of the season. Went to South Carolina a couple weeks ago. It's into the end zone for a touchback, and we'll see, is it going to be Atkins or Stubblefield this drive for the Bulldogs? It kind of looks like Billy Atkins might get a go here at quarterback.
And this is certainly not a surprise or a knock on Stubblefield's performance so far. We knew that they were going to play both quarterbacks. Atkins is a little bit more of a pocket passer type, so he can get the football down the field. So expect maybe a shot or two in this series for the Bulldogs.
Put together a fantastic 70-yard opening drive that ended in a pick six. Just moments ago, had the interception of Byron Brown, but Lunds gets hit with the roughing the passer call that negates the turnover. Atkins into the flats for Tyler Smith. A decent gain of about 4 on 1st and 10.
And you hear coaches say all the time about like the mental errors and the miscues and how there's 1 or 2 plays that change the game. That roughing the passer is a difference in this game being 7-0, 14-0. So leaving plays on the field right now is the story for South Carolina State. They're hurting themselves both offensively and defensively with penalties. Uncharacteristic for a well-coached team.
2nd and 6 for Atkins with KZ Adams in the backfield. Pressure coming. Atkins standing tall and delivers a strike to Johnson for a 1st down.
Nice job getting that to Johnson. He had Cyrus Ellison, number 14, the tight end, running free in a flat route. But a nice job by Atkins just settling in, taking the shot, still delivering a pass to be able to pick up the 1st down. And that's what you're going to have to do if you're South Florida. You've got to rush the decisions for Billy Atkins. They need to continue to bring the pressure. We've seen it work really well early in this game for South Florida when they bring pressure. That's Mac Harris from his Mike position, Jalen Schuler from his will linebacker position as well.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Bulldogs need a big drive here. Nowhere to go. Dragged down in the backfield, and Mac Harris is there again to make the stop.
He is such an instinctive player. Number 24 for South Florida just does a tremendous job of navigating through traffic to get ball carriers down. 2nd down situation here for South Carolina State. These are the moments where you can take a shot, try to open it up. Billy Atkins is a dynamic passer. Give him an opportunity. Number 9, Nicholas Soul. He's at the bottom of the screen. He's another one of those deep threats they have on offense.
6'6", too, so a big size advantage on the outside for Soul. Atkins looking over the middle here on the crosser. And a broken tackle. It's Ruffin who has a 1st down, and finally tackled out of bounds by Ward.
Excellent job from Ruffin here. Jalen Schuler, the backer number 7 for South Florida, had a chance in the middle of this defense. See number 7, he's the guy who's there. He's just late to the party. And then a missed tackle allows Ruffin to get up the field to pick up the 1st down.
7 different ball carriers, 6 different receivers already in this game. We're not 20 minutes in yet.
We're having fun.
Part of the reason South Carolina State is so difficult to defend. Time for Atkins, coming from the backside, stripped. The ball is on the ground. It looks like the Bulldogs might have recovered. It was Mac Harris again.
He is just so incredible with his hands, working against Chevy Trask, number 70 at tackle. He just knifes beside him. He's a much smaller guy, but he uses that speed and that closing speed to get to the quarterback to strip the football. In moments like this, Chucky, it's always the stars who have to step up and make a play to get your defense off the field. Mac Harris is one of those guys.
3rd sack in the game already by South Florida. Had 3 entering this game. 2nd and 15. whistles on the snap.
False start. All players were not set. 5-yard penalty.
The third false
Second
start
down.
penalty.
And look, you're on the road, it's tough, but it just really puts your offense in a bad situation when you can't get the right call in and the right system in and the right people in. Now, I go back to the multi-quarterback thing. When you have two different quarterbacks coming in and out of the game, the cadence is different. Even though it's the same, the cadence sounds different with inflection points for guys. You have to keep that in mind as the offensive line, keeping your poise with the new quarterback in.
Empty set on 2nd and 20. Atkins has some time. They're going to get some of that back, connecting with Nicholas Soul. They get 6 yards, just 5.
I mean, it's incredible that in the first quarter, Chucky, this just felt like such a different game for South Carolina State because they were moving the football, but they weren't hurting themselves. And the second they started to hurt themselves, the whole dynamic and momentum of this football game changed.
It was the 7th different receiver. Flag thrown, Atkins throwing toward the sideline and incomplete. He's looking the direction of Ruffin, but there is that flag back at the 40-yard line. Right on the snap.
Offside. Number 34. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 3rd down.
Rico Watson, the third that time. Going a little too fast. Watch him to the left end, number 34. A little bit out of the frame there. Got that foot over the line. Free play. South Carolina State.
Another hit that Atkins took as well by Iris Singleton. 3rd and 10. Atkins, quarterback designed run, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Denard Flowers made the stop.
They brought the safety this time. Jalen Stokes, number 21. He's the guy who rushes this. Seemed like Atkins just got rushed from the pressure. Maybe it wasn't a design run, just trying to get out of there. But because Stokes was there so fast, he had to pull it, get what he could.
That's how quick it was. I was thinking that was meant to, but you're right. He got flushed quickly.
The pressure continuing to work for the Bulls. Bringing pressure and dialing up pressure.
It's a really good punt back to the 7-yard line by Janish. Long way to go for South Florida's offense with 8:41 to play in the second quarter. 4. South Florida not exactly raking in the frequent flyer miles. Opening weekend here in Tampa against Boise State, and then they go to Gainesville, which was about a 131-mile bus ride to play Florida, where they upset the Gators, and then down south to Miami. That was a flight, but they have stayed in the state of Florida. Now back home here in week 4 at Raymond James Stadium. They're home this season and next while their new stadium gets built. Staying in the warm weather, though. I like how that sounds.
Florida's a beautiful place to be. I'll come out anytime they'll have us.
Hint, hint.
But you mentioned the new stadium, the renderings. We got a chance to see a little bit of that this week. Just tremendous what USF has invested in for this football program.
Empty set for Byram Brown, getting it out wide on the first play. Making a few men miss. Keyshawn Singleton, they'll get about 4 on first down. Maria, it's also a different setup for them because they're playing early for the first time this year.
Well, the Bulls didn't have to travel, but Alex Golish was a little bit concerned with the earlier start, the noon kickoff. They played later kickoff so far this season, so he said it was going to be a bit of an adjustment, and he wanted to make sure that his guys were ready for it.
I think we saw that a little bit with them, the slow start.
Is that intercepted, incomplete? It hit the ground before Brennan Scott could bring it in. What was your routine at Notre Dame on an early game like this one?
Well, I mean, the routine is still the same. It's just the time of day that stuff is happening. So, like, a lot of it is, like, around the meal plan, so what you're eating before you go out. So in early games like this, you're probably having eggs, you're having breakfast, when you're used to having maybe a lean cut of meat of some sort beforehand, with steak. So that's what changes the dynamics, time of day, as it relates to. And it's also about getting your body ready and going. One of the things that was interesting in pregame we saw for South Carolina State, they actually were going really hard in the pregame amongst themselves. I think it was an attempt to try to help themselves start fast, which we saw that they did. Not so much for the Bulls on their side.
Brown throwing it near side to Chaz Nimrod, the Tennessee transfer. Has been a big addition for them, one of their top receivers through the first 3 weeks.
Had a big game last week, 128 yards against Miami. He's been outstanding for them. They need to get the football to him more.
Brown looking downfield toward Nimrod again, and then to the sideline he goes. Out by Brandon Kube.
You see they are sticking with the tempo.
Porter, excuse me. Jerseys get scrunched. I thought that was 88, not 80. Run up the middle and tripped up Cartavius Norton. He is their big back, transferred from Charlotte. Gets about 8 yards.
He's building his confidence. Weston Wolf that time, the tight end, laid a key block coming across that formation.
Going fast, back to Norton in space, spinning to the 40 and staying on his feet to the 35-yard line. Cartavius Norton with a big pickup.
They have found something offensively with bringing the tight end across the formation to block. Happens again, allows Norton to get up the field after Weston Hoff made another key block in this series.
Brown throwing outside. They'll get 9 on first down to Singleton.
We've seen the tempo really help the Bulls offensively and continuing to stay in rhythm. Doing a nice job right now, offensive coordinator Joel Gordon, of mixing it up.
Brown all day to throw, looking end zone, caught! Touchdown, Bulls! Josh Porter's first touchdown grab, not just of the season, but of his career.
Big time play for the Bulls offensively. Byron Brown, he is excited and for this. Charles Arnold, the free safety, gets turned around. He's to the left of the screen here. He gets lost in coverage. Makes for an easy pitch and catch to the outside to Porter from Brown. And Byron Brown just showing you when you give him time, he can hurt you. We have not seen South Carolina State dial up the blitz to try to put pressure on Brown. It's costing them right now.
This is a veteran South Florida team as a whole. When you look at them defensively, offensive line, some of the other spots, they have some talented young players, though. Josh Porter's one of them.
He certainly is. He's been outstanding. Big time catch to extend the lead. Bulls are up 21-0. A little bit of time left here in the second quarter. Welcome back. We have seen South Florida go tempo, and that tempo can sometimes create confusion, specifically in the back. You see Charles Arnold there, comes into frame and gets turned around on the play. The result is a big touchdown from Joshua Porter.
The South Carolina State team looks exhausted.
They're pretty tired
now due to that tempo. They'll get the football back with 6:20 left in this first half. 9 plays, 93 yards over 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Something is out of place there, and it is the time it took them to go 93 yards on 9 plays. This bounces and goes into the end zone for a touchback. Let's check in with Maria. What's going down on that South Carolina State sideline?
Well, despite them looking tired, guys, the one thing that has been so impressive about this South Carolina State team is their discipline. And that's the one thing that we learned about Coach Berry was the way that he drills his players. As soon as every single guy comes off the field, they go to their respective position coach or a coordinator and they talk to them. They try to get feedback. And so even though they may look tired, even though they are down in this game, they are still incredibly locked in and trying to push through it.
One of the things that Coach Berry told us, and that's a great point, Maria, Coach Berry told us his job is to coach the coaches. And so the coaches are the ones that can go out and continue to extend the messaging. Love to see that they're doing that with these young players, trying to keep themselves in this football game.
Billy Atkins remains as the quarterback. Completed pass on first down for about 7 yards.
And that's the other thing here, Chucky, just at the quarterback position, it's when you have 2 guys, it becomes real challenging to create a full identity for your team because we've just seen 2 different styles of offense because of who's in the game at quarterback. You almost wonder if you just have to force yourself to pick one guy and stick with that guy no matter what to give your offense a chance to develop its identity.
Atkins 6 for 6 for 44 yards passing so far. 2nd and 3 into the flats, and they've got a first down. Connecting with Nick Brown.
He's a guy they need to get more involved in the pass game. He's good on his run blocks, Nick Brown is. 6'2", 218 pounds, redshirt sophomore. I want to get him the football a bit more. And that's one of the things we need to see offensively for South Carolina State. They got to get Casey Adams, number 17. Mason Pickett hits number 6, the running back. They got to figure out how to get some creative plays for some of these guys out of the backfield.
1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. It is Smith, the running back, and the handoff to Smith has a decent opening here for one of the first times in this game, and he gets 8 yards to the 45 before Flowers stops him.
Nice job by the right tackle here, opening up some running lane. You see that big move there from Chevy Trask, number 70. Pins his guy outside, allowing Smith to get up and pick up some big yardage. And Trask is a guy, graduate senior out of Chicago, transferred in from Kennesaw State. They need big things from their right tackle.
2nd and 2 at the 45-yard line. Atkins, quick throw on the out route to Soul, and they move the chains again. Gain of 7.
These rhythm passes right now are really working for Billy Atkins. Give him a moment to take a step or two and then get the football out of his hands quickly. But this feels so much different when Atkins is calling the plays versus Ryan Stubblefield. They're trying to settle into this new style with the new quarterback.
Just ticked under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Atkins and Smith in the backfield. Atkins rolling to his left. Pressure coming and throws it away.
And that's the interesting piece is those rollout plays. We saw Ryan Stubblefield do an incredible job of extending those plays. That's almost a play that you call when he's in the game versus what Billy Atkins is. But Atkins is having to roll to his left and try to find a guy. Nowhere to go with the football. Nice job not forcing the play. Pulling the football away there.
I just want to point out that there was a redshirt freshman receiver on the sideline, Antoine McRae, who made a crazy one-handed catch on that ball out of bounds.
Give the kid some playing time. Give him some love. Still haven't seen him take a shot yet.
Atkins stepping up in another crossing pattern. About 5 yards on the play. Jalen Johnson on the grab. Kawan Banks makes the stop.
Johnson made so many plays in that South Carolina game a few weeks ago. You got to figure out ways to get their playmakers the football in space.
Seen some serious pressure on these downs from South Florida. Already 3 sacks today. South Carolina State has struggled to protect the quarterback this season.
Watch Mac Harris, number 24 at the top of the screen. He and Rico Watson are the backers in. Could bring pressure.
3rd and 5, empty backfield, just a 4-man rush. Atkins stepping up, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
This has just been really tough for South Carolina State to defend when the Bulls bring pressure. That time, Mac Harris came on the edge of that defense. They blitzed the Mike backer to rush the throw for Atkins. He's up a 4th down. A nice job by South Florida getting off the field.
Chance late in the first half for the Bulls to add to a 3-touchdown lead. 4th punt for Elliot Janish. It's going to be inside the 10-yard line, fair caught at the 6. That is where Byram Brown and company will take over.
Well, so far, Chucky, for Brown, 8 of 12, 92 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He hasn't been on the field very long offensively, but he has made the most of the opportunities. A couple of big plays and some assistance from the other side, making this a 3-score game.
Kind of a slow start for this offense on their first drive, a 3-and-out. The second drive almost ended with a turnover, if not for that roughing the passer call, but now they do start to look like they're in a rhythm. They take over 1st and 10 inside their own 10-yard line. Sullivan in motion, handoff to Isaac, and he gets to the 9-yard line, just a gain of 2 on the play. Jordan Dollard makes the tackle.
This offense is predicated on giving Brown options on the outside.
There's 12 men on the field, so there is a flag in the secondary in that tempo. South Carolina State, we saw them really start to wear down at the end of that last drive. In part, that's why Byram Brown had so much time on that touchdown pass. They were not able to get their substitute off the field on that last play.
Illegal substitution, defense. More than 11 players on the field of the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat. 2nd down.
You mentioned it. They're just really gassed South Carolina State is on defense. You see all those timeouts they have. Sometimes in these moments, you just want to take a timeout, give your guys an extra 20 to 30 seconds to really breathe when you notice that guys are huffing and puffing, unable to get off the field in time.
Isaac trying to go outside. A nice tackle coming down from the secondary by Jared Washington. Preseason All-MEAC first team. He's a big piece of this defense.
He's a big guy, 6'2", 190-pound senior. Real dynamic on the outside. They haven't tested him yet.
Third and short for Brown. That'll take us down to the 2-minute timeout.
Timeout.
With South Florida leading South Carolina State 21-0 here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. 21-0 South Florida at the 2-minute timeout, leading South Carolina State. Coming up at halftime, Maria sits down with South Florida's inaugural CEO of athletics, Rob Higgins. Darius and I will have highlights and stats from the first half of our matchup in Tampa. Byron Brown trying to lead the Bulls down the field. Injured last year in the 5th game of the season, missed the rest of the regular season. There were huge expectations because this is what he did in 2023. That's compared to the Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he was just outstanding that year in 2023. 37 total touchdowns, 65% completion percentage. You see why they have been high on him. When we spoke to offensive coordinator Joel Gordon, one of the things we asked about was his time at Iowa State mentoring Brock Purdy. And he mentioned the similarities between Brock Purdy and Byron Brown and how they compete on the football field.
It is a 3rd down out of the 2-minute timeout for Brown and company. Alvon Isaac is the back. 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Brown looking over the middle to Isaac. It's intercepted. This time it is picked off. Brennan Scott almost had one earlier. No doubt about that one, and it sets up South Carolina State in fantastic field position.
Well, the Bulls got what they wanted with Isaac, one-on-one with the linebacker there. The ball was just a little high. Not to mention Jordan Franklin was all over Isaac when he's trying to catch that football. Ends up tipping it in the air, and an incredible job by Brennan Scott with the concentration to bring that football in to create the first turnover for South Carolina State.
Brennan Scott, a guy who had a season-ending injury a year ago in Game 3. So he was another one hungry to get back this season. Already has made a good impact over the first few weeks, but that right there is his biggest one to give the Bulldogs an opportunity to get on the board.
We talked about him and his leadership on and off the field for this team. And you see the turnovers there, 1 apiece.
Atkins is the quarterback, throwing into the flats for Cyrus Ellison. Decent pickup on 1st down, tackled by Deshaun Rucker. 2nd down.
Now this might be a little bit of a hot take here, Chucky, but I'm still surprised we haven't seen Stubblefield back in the game. We saw him have a terrific first quarter with moving the football down the field because the style is different because he's a dual threat guy. Atkins more of a pocket passer. They're going to stick with the pocket passer to close out this 2nd quarter.
Handoff to Smith. A lot of pressure there. Smith dancing, and he's lifted off his feet. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. Mac Harris and friends to make the stop. Gaskin and Mitchell also there.
Yeah, this secondary, Fred Gaskin and Tavin Ward, they're having a field day with these blitz coming down from their secondary position. Never get credit for the tackle if you're Fred Gaskin there, but causing havoc in the backfield with the pressure has been the story for South Florida on defense.
3rd and 5, empty backfield for Billy Atkins IV, the grad student from Baltimore. Throwing toward the end zone. Little hand jostling, those flags coming out, and that is going to be pass interference in that South Florida secondary.
Looked like Banks might have been holding there, number 13.
Pass interference. Number 13, defense. Ball we placed at the 2-yard line. 1st down.
So they did get Banks on the hold here going against Jalen Johnson. Johnson had him a step. It's hard to see as this football came down where his arm was, but it looked like he grabbed a little bit of that left arm as that football was in the air. But we've seen the penalties really be the difference for both teams in extending drives. Right now, South Carolina State's the recipient.
First and goal, 43 seconds left in this first half. South Carolina State desperately needs to get in the end zone.
Big height advantage at the bottom of the screen.
Atkins stepping up, getting away, stumbles toward the end zone, hit hard at the 1-yard line, and he's going to come up just short. Harris and Gaskin closing down Atkins.
He's trying to make a play here. Nowhere to go with the football, so he's got to go up, take it, and run. trying to get that football over the line to get some points on the board for South Carolina State. Let's get Maria. Tell us a little bit more about Billy Atkins.
There's a helmet
Atkins
off
can also be,
by the offensive
or his
player
offensive
while the clock
coordinator,
is
Coach
running.
Williams, told us
South
that
Carolina
he
State
cut a lot of the
chooses
players'
their first
hair.
timeout.
He said it's been a
Their
great
14
way
second
for
runoff.
Billy to bump.
30-second timeout.
He did a haircut demonstration for the team talent show as well, guys. So I don't know if you're busy. If you're not busy, maybe you can stop by and Billy can help you guys out.
Certainly can help me as far as my cut goes. Just have him buzz this whole
beard
thing.
trim, maybe.
There you go. There you go. It's possible for sure. Shows you he's a talented guy being able to cut it. That means you got steady hands, Chuck. You got to have steady hands for that with the line up and the edge up.
Second goal, 33 seconds left here at the 1 yard line. Couple timeouts for South Carolina State.
Really surprised they're not keeping the football on the ground
36
here.
seconds. 36 seconds played.
Try to get this football into the end zone. We mentioned Tyler Smith. He and Casey Fields are the bigger backs for them on offense. It looks like they're bringing Casey Fields in now, number 22. 6 foot, 225 pounds. We saw it work in short yardage situation for him to pick up a 4th and short earlier in the game. You have to think they're going to try to hand the big guy the football in this formation. Try to pick up some points before the half.
Up the middle, and they're not going to get there. Back to the line of scrimmage. Couldn't quite put it in the end zone. That is actually the D lineman, Kevon Chisholm, who stands 6'5", 260 pounds. They just gave it to.
I mean, he's a big man, but he is just not used to having the football in his hands, having to run that. He actually jumps there as he gets to the line of scrimmage, which is one of those things you don't want to do in short yardage situation, to leave your feet, because you don't give yourself the opportunity to lower the shoulder and push forward. That's a little bit of a head scratcher there, just in that we have seen Casey Fields have success already in this game in short yardage. He's the big guy. He's used to carrying the football. So the play calling right now for South Carolina State, we've seen them pass a few times here in the red zone, up here at the goal line, and then the one running play they run, they give it to a defensive lineman. Sometimes you can get a little too cute with what you're trying to do to put points on the board versus staying steady with what has worked in the past.
You're telling me you were not the LaDainian Tomlinson style dive over the pile?
I mean, you know, I was definitely a little bit more of a finesse kind of guy for sure. No doubt about it.
30 seconds, 3rd and goal for Atkins with just 1 timeout remaining, and they come out in the same formation. Chisholm is still there. They hand it off this time to Fields, and he barrels into the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina State.
Well, we talked about it, Chucky. I love the call. Keep it on the ground. Give it to the big guy. Let him pound it away into the end zone. You'll see Fields here to the right of this formation. He gets the football right behind Chisholm. Chisholm uses that big frame this time to bulldoze over. Ran right over the top of DJ Harris there. Made tons of space for Casey Fields to pick up the first touchdown for South Carolina State.
Nico Cavanius Alti on for the extra point and sends it right down the middle to make it 21-7. Casey Fields' first touchdown of the season. Didn't play last year, ran for about 200 yards and a couple scores in 2023. This is a big moment here, though, with 26 seconds left. We mentioned the special team struggles for South Carolina State. So this right here is something they'll be very cognizant of about to kick off to South Florida.
Yeah, you wonder in these moments, will they just squib kick it, try to keep that football low, make sure the Bulls don't have a big opportunity to return it, keep the momentum on their side going into halftime.
They gave up just 1 offensive touchdown in the first 2 weeks of the season before Bethune-Cookman last week. They enter this week having allowed 31 points per game, and that's how you started the year, not really doing that on defense.
Yeah. The ebbs and flows of college football.
It's going to be a shorter kick toward the 15. Bounces up, and South Florida getting a little creative here, throwing it to the other side. The Bulldogs read it well. Michael Evans makes the tackle. It's Jaquan Smith. 1st and 10 with 21 seconds left. There is a flag on the field, or there is. "21 seconds, 3 timeouts."
That's enough time.
For this offense.
Enough time to do some damage for sure.
It's Alex Gola. She's 15 yards on the field right now.
He's upset about something.
There are 2 players on the kicking team wearing number 8. 5-yard penalty for the end of the run. 1st down.
Both guys wearing number 8 on the field at the same time. South Carolina State.
Charles Arnold. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Let's see if South Florida tries something here.
I've been waiting for them to get Chaz Nimrod, number 2, involved in the passing game. He'll be in the slot towards the bottom of the screen. He's a guy they like to lean on in high-pressure moments.
There's Nimrod on the 3-receiver side. Brown, little screen pass for Isaac. Makes a couple miss and tripped up after a gain of about 9 on 1st down. Scott makes the tackle. Timeout, South Florida.
Timeout, South Florida. Their
Like
first
Isaac
and a
might have
half.
lost his shoes
30
there.
seconds. Please set the game
well.
clock. 14 seconds.
Got plenty of
1-4.
playmakers at wide receiver, and that comes after they lose 4 of their top 5 pass catchers, led by Sean Atkins, who's the career reception and yards leader, but they've reloaded. This is a deep wide receiver room.
They definitely miss him, but Chase Nimrod has been one of the guys who has stepped up in his absence, catching the football over the middle of the field. And Brown has been able to make him the deep threat that he enjoys. This is against Florida. Another one of those big catches that put them up in that football game. He has just been outstanding with the football in his hands in these one-on-one battles. And like what Singleton can do, this duo, Nimrod and Singleton, it's a nice luxury for any quarterback to have when you got a couple guys you can sling it to.
Those 2 combined to be over 500 yards on the season now. They've got some talented young receivers. We saw Josh Porter. They like Christian Neptune a lot as well. 14 seconds left, 2nd and 1. South Florida at their own 37-yard line. Same formation. Brown looking to the trip side this time, throwing over the middle to Porter across midfield and pushed backwards at the 46-yard line. Timeout, South Florida, with 8 seconds left.
South
They've got
Florida.
a big
Second and a half.
kicker
30
in
seconds.
Nico Grammatica.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get this down a little bit further though. Nice job by Porter of settling in. This defense just completely bailed out. You see no one in the middle of the field right now. Everyone bailing out into coverage. Porter settles down to pick up some big yardage.
Coming up at the half, Maria with South Florida's inaugural CEO of Athletics, Rob Higgins, will have highlights and stats from the first half of this game. Now, what does South Florida try here? 1st and 10, they've got 8 seconds. They have one more timeout, and they've got a big-time leg in Nico Grammatica on the sideline waiting for an opportunity potentially. You throw something short and try and get it in his range.
That's the move. Outbreaking routes towards the sticks to try to pick up a few more yards for Grammatica.
There it is, and they get it close to the 41-yard line, so this would be a 58-yarder if they want to try it. They only had 3 seconds come off the clock. His career long is 58, so we are at that mark right now. Last year, he was their long field goal kicker as a true freshman. He was 3 for 5, all of those attempts coming over 50 yards. Of course, it's the family of kickers, the Grammaticas.
Quite the lineage to come from, for sure.
Second down, and that is it a false start or is it offsides?
They tried to get Joshua Barker there. Let's see if they did. Defensive tackle for South Carolina State, number 0.
Kicking unit was already jogging on the field.
Offside. Number 7, defense. Enter the neutral
This
zone and cause a reaction.
A 53
5-yard penalty
yarder.
results in a first down.
Here comes Grammatica.
Let's see here. That's actually 0 in the middle of the field there. Joshua Barker, who they got on the offsides.
It's actually, they are going to line this up at the 44-yard line. So it'll be a 54-yarder, 4 shy of his career long of 58. Timeout, South Carolina State. Going to give him something to think about.
South Carolina
Ice
State.
him a little bit.
Third and a half.
Martine was a
30
third-round draft pick of the Buccaneers in 1999. All-American at Kansas State. His uncles both kicked here.
Yeah, he's got a sister who kicks now. I mean, it's just
Younger
it's quite
brother.
the family. A younger brother who kicks too, who will likely be in South Florida as well. Quite the fun family to be a part of. Wonder what's happening at those family dinners. What are they talking about as far as the kicking game is concerned? They clearly know something that the rest of us don't.
Grammatica from 54 yards. And the right hash. Good snap, good hold. It has the distance, but it's wide left, and it actually fell short, too. It looked at the off his foot like it had the distance, but did not hit that cleanly like you expect to see from Nico Grammatica.
That is an unfortunate ending. But I think that's a pretty big win for South Carolina State to maintain a little bit of this momentum. Now, USF is going to get the football on the other side coming out. But right now, South Carolina State trying to keep this football game close.
Got a big touchdown at the end of that first half. Maria's on the field with Alex Golish.
Coach, your defense was really good in that first half. What impressed you most about that unit?
Well, they just kept going, right? It wasn't real pretty. We kind of gave up a couple of chunks, and then they bowed up, and then they kept bowing up and kept bowing up and kept bowing up. That last drive, obviously, you wanted to stop, but they forced turnovers, bowed up. I think they've done a really good job. We got to help them offensively.
Your offense a little bit slow to start, but then they were able to get going. How?
Yeah, the disappointing part is the start. We got to be able to start faster, but then we were able to just pitch and catch and run the ball and kind of be us. We just got to restart there in the second half and put a drive together, let our defense rest a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys?
South Florida by 14 at the break in Tampa. Leading South Carolina State, who got a late touchdown and maybe a bit of momentum going to the break. We'll be back with halftime in just a moment. Halftime here in Tampa between South Florida and South Carolina State. Let's go to Maria now, who sat down with South Florida's inaugural CEO of Athletics, Rob Higgins.
Welcome into South Florida's indoor practice facility. I'm Maria Tribal-Peace alongside the new CEO of Athletics of the University of South Florida, Rob Higgins. Rob, thank you so much for being here today.
Appreciate you having me.
I know that you are super busy, so we're going to get right into it and start from the beginning. When you knew that this CEO of Athletics position could be a thing, what made you say, I want to try to go for this role?
Well, I was born and raised on campus here and in this community. I've actually never left. I have such deep ties to this institution. Both of my parents graduated from here. I graduated from here. My sister graduated from here. I met my wife here of 25 years. So it's a place I care a lot about. But as I've continued to see the role of the institution within the community and try to work together with them, I just saw it as an incredible opportunity to try to continue to elevate the athletic program here. The leadership here is phenomenal with Chairman Will Weatherford, Vice Chair Mike Griffin, our President, and so many others are all pulling in the right direction. And while I've loved my time at the Sports Commission, this is an opportunity to join that team and try to do something special.
We'll get to your role at the Sports Commission in just a little bit, but I want to talk about this role of CEO of Athletics because you are the first one here at South Florida. Can you describe for people what exactly this will entail?
Well, the athletic director role at every institution, no matter the level across the country, has really evolved in the last 20 years, the last 10 years. And then you think about the last 5 to 3 years, that job has changed dramatically. So I think it's probably putting more of an appropriate title on it, but there's so many things that go into it in addition to managing all of the different athletic programs when it comes to revenue generation and sponsorship and fundraising, ticket sales, community connectivity. There are a lot of things to balance as part of it and a lot of opportunities around it. So I think Chairman Will Weatherford really wanted the title to reflect what the role actually is, and kudos to him for having that vision. I think there'll be others that probably follow suit throughout, but we're bringing that mentality. We're a $100 million business, and it's going to be treated as such. We're going to make sure we're leveraging and monetizing any and every opportunity possible so that our student athletes can get the experience that they truly deserve.
So the title is a little different, and this world of college athletics is just ever changing. So as you step into this new position, how do you plan to address all of those changes within this space?
Well, I've always been a college athletics junkie. Some of my best friends in the entire planet are college athletic directors and conference commissioners. When you look at the breadth of all the different collegiate championships that we've hosted here, from the NCAA Men's Frozen Four to the Women's Final Four to Men's March Madness, the College Football Playoff National Championship, and so many more, we've had the opportunity to relationship build with so many of them. So I've had a chance to hear from them throughout the entire process, as well as the years leading into it. I've really studied it back and forth, and I'm just excited to take those lessons that I've learned and apply them here with a true entrepreneurial spirit and a great team of individuals that are going to look out to maximize every opportunity for our community and for our student athletes.
You just touched on some of the things that you were able to accomplish when you were at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission and all of those experiences as well. So what are some things in particular that you think really helped you in that job that can help you as the CEO of Athletics at South Florida?
Well, every single event that we hosted, we started by curating the student-athlete experience. We wanted to know from the moment they touched down at our community for a national championship, we want to make sure every single minute throughout, through the time the confetti fell on them as national champions and we got them back on the plane, we had to make sure everything was seamless. And in our world, we knew these kids had dreamed their entire life of playing for national championship, and our job was to exceed what that dream was like. No different here. We know these kids throughout their entire playing career, high school, everything, are dreaming about what it's going to be like to play in college. And we as a team have to make sure we're exceeding what that dream is. And that's going to take a lot of relationships, it's going to take a lot of focus, it's going to take resources, and it's going to take all of us to do that. But that's the level and the standard that we're working to achieve.
One thing that you said earlier was about elevating the University of South Florida athletics. Now, they've already begun to do that. They've added new programs like women's lacrosse and beach volleyball. So how do you hope to continue that, especially in a time when a lot of schools are cutting programs?
Oh, I think when you look at USF athletics, whether it's a week from now, whether it's a year from now or 10 years from now, you're going to see a program that is truly one of one, and we're all gas, no brakes. I mean, we are looking to raise the bar in every single way possible, and it's really going to take a village to do that. We're fortunate to have a very special village. This is the 11th biggest media market in the country. It's the biggest one in the state of Florida. We are fortunate to have all a Team Tampa Bay that's going to rally around this program, and with that, being able to make sure that we are not looking at cutting sport offerings, but if anything, doubling down, that's going to be the mentality here.
So not only at the University of South Florida, but also the city of Tampa as well. And another big moment coming to this university is in 27 and 28, the American Conference Basketball Championship. So how important is that for the university?
It's huge to have the opportunity for our student athletes to have a home court advantage of sorts, and also have Team Tampa Bay rallying around the American Conference is phenomenal. And I'll just take a step back. I mean, Tim Pernetti, the conference commissioner for the American, has been so dynamic, and I see a lot of what we're doing and what he's doing as well. It's a roll up your sleeves, get after it mentality. We're gritty, we're innovative, and we're doing everything we can to leverage every single opportunity for the student athletes. And that's what has us so excited about those conference tournaments, both on the men's and women's side. To have 4 different tournaments happening over 2 years is really special. I worked on it when I was in my former hat with the Sports Commission. I can't wait to work on it now as CEO of athletics.
You kind of led me to my next question, because you had that experience with the Sports Commission and now you're looking at it from a different lens. How do you think that will help this championship be even better?
We've always really collaborated well between both the Sports Commission and USF. So we put that bid together. We put together that vision in tandem between both of our different areas. And it'll be no different. I think we're going to make sure that the community really wraps its arms around and rallies around these events. And I think it really serves as a starting point for a lot of future opportunities. Really, the sky's the limit for not only USF and Team Tampa Bay, and that's what we're here to accomplish.
We began this interview of you speaking of what South Florida has meant to you, right? You had family members go here. You're an alum yourself. So how much more special does it make it that you get to now be the CEO of athletics of your alma mater?
It's very surreal. So when I was a young kid, I was a ball kid here. I started at the age of 8. And then when I was too old to be a ball kid, they made me a student manager. And back in those days, I always dreamed of being the head coach here. But shortly as my college career was winding up, I made the switch to administration, and that's when my dream to lead the athletic program really took off. And so for the last, I'll call it 25 years, I've dreamed of leading USF athletics. So to have that finally happen, it's an honor that we don't take lightly, and we're going to get after it, make sure it goes really well.
Well, I'm super excited to see what you do here, from ball boy to the CEO of athletics of the University of South Florida. Rob, thank you so much for taking the time.
Truly enjoyed it, and go Bulls.
Keep it right here. We have more halftime coming up for you after this.
Halftime between the South Florida Bulls and the South Carolina State Bulldogs. The American on ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. We'll be back second half in just a few moments. Welcome back to the American on ESPN Plus. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, where South Florida leads South Carolina State 21-7 at the break. Started really good for South Carolina State until this play here.
Yeah, this was really the thing. Mac Harris is the one, or the recipient of that tip ball. He takes it 93 yards into the end zone, and then it really was the pressure that we saw from South Florida. They dialed it up. They were rushing Atkins, they rushed Stubblefield. Both quarterbacks seemed to be under duress most of the first half. It was terrific. And then South Carolina State, they go back to Atkins and they drive down the field. This is one of those where they put it together, mixing it up with the pass and the run game. It's Jones on this play, and then Atkins able to get it to the goal line to to set themselves up to try to close out the second quarter to bring this game a little bit closer after the touchdown carry from Field. So an excellent job battling back for South Carolina State, but Byron Brown didn't want to be outdone at the quarterback position, and he shows you why he's that guy. This was the first touchdown to Nichols on that post route, and then he threw the deep one to Porter towards the back of the end zone for his second touchdown pass of the day.
Byron Brown, 11 of 16, 126 yards, couple touchdowns, the one interception, almost 2. Kickoff is fielded but dropped, and now a big return down the sideline for Alvin Isaac. Alvin Isaac across the 45-yard line. In the booth alongside Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. It was the offense for South Florida that was a little bit of a slow start for them, but we started to see flashes of what we expect from an Alex Golesh offense.
Yeah, and it really just starts at the quarterback. Byron Brown has just been terrific. You mentioned the slow start, but they got things going. When they put him on islands and give him opportunities to make plays with his legs and extend plays, he's as good as any in the country.
And we'll get to see him right out of the gates. So look at the first half stats, pretty even total yardage-wise. It was that big defensive touchdown for South Florida, though. Nice grab, no, dropped on the outside. Chaz Nimrod, the intended target. Let's check in with Maria. She talked to Chennis Berry at halftime.
Well, Coach Berry was actually very pleased with his team's performance in the first half despite trailing. He said, the biggest thing for me is that we play hard, and he thought that they did that in that first half. He said in all 3 phases, he liked how physical his team was. He said he does need them to get a stop here, though, so his offense can get back on the field.
Well, we've certainly seen it up here, too, Chucky, from South Carolina State. They are not afraid of this moment and of this game, despite being an FCS team. So they are playing lights out the best they can. It's been the tempo that has gotten them.
And a big run here, and South Florida going to get on the board. Cartavius Norton almost broke one earlier. This time to the end zone. There is a flag back at the 34-yard line. This might be coming back.
You mentioned the tempo for USF. South Carolina State has not found an answer for the up-tempo offense. When they go no huddle, let's get the call here.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty.
This is a tough call here. USF, big time play. You see the line isn't set because they're going tempo. They're just going fast. So South Carolina State isn't set. Norton does a nice job of getting upfield. Brendan Scott had a chance to get him down. He's the one guy trying to make a shoestring tackle there, unable to do so, but the hole brings it back. Not sure where that was, didn't see it on our side.
3rd and 1 in South Florida's version of the tush push for our resident Philadelphia native, Maria Trival-Peace, down on the sideline.
And also my fantasy football team, thank you very much.
I don't want to talk about it.
Timeout for an injury to a defensive player.
Field for South Carolina State. And the D lineman Josh Barker down holding his right knee.
There's another one of those transfers from Benedict College for Berry and company.
Chennis Berry brought 14 players last year from Benedict, brought a number of staff members. We'll step away while they tend to Josh Barker on the field. Joshua Barker, junior from Kennesaw, Georgia, walked off under his own power. That'll be a big one for South Carolina State moving forward, not just in this game, but as the season goes on. Preseason all-conference second team in the MEAC. One of their big returners on that defensive line.
He's had one of the highest grades for them defensively throughout the season, so they desperately need to get him back.
One of the biggest plays of the game, that run by Cartavius Norton, was called back due to a hold. South Florida's longest play was the 26-yard touchdown to Porter. Brown trying to fix that here. Deep ball caught by Nimrod right on cue. A 42-yard touchdown pass from Byram Brown to Chaz Nimrod.
Well, we were wondering when the Bulls were going to take a shot. And we talked about Chaz Nimrod and Keyshawn Singleton. Both of them are to the left of the screen, so it's pick your poison if you're the defense. No way to cover both of these guys in the post route to Nimrod down in the middle of the field. He beats Demario Bookhart for the touchdown.
Extra point by Chromatica is good, and South Florida right out of the gates in the second half, adding to their lead to make it 28-7.
Big time play here. Nice job by Nimrod cradling that football in to extend the lead, 28-7. More football on the other side when we come back. Bulls are rolling. Welcome back in. Well, we just saw the big touchdown here and a little bit of coaching for a young freshman here, Demario Bookhart, number 20. Watch him at the bottom of the screen. As this play gets going, you see he's flat foot while Nimrod is already starting to run full speed. He has no chance because he's flat foot at the point of the attack. He gets outrun, results in 6 points for the Bulls. Chucky, I played with a guy, Champ Bailey, in Denver. He was one of the best with keeping his feet shuffling at that point of attack and making sure that a guy's not running full speed while he's flat foot. It's a technique.
He was a pretty good one.
A little good. Yeah, he did all right. Did a nice run. Shout out to Champ.
South Carolina State takes over for the first time in the second half. The question is, which quarterback will we see between Billy Atkins and Ryan Stubblefield? Stubblefield hasn't played since late in the first quarter They'll be trying to respond after that 5-yard 53-play drive over just 59 seconds.
And you look at the numbers between the two of them with Atkins and Stubblefield. Stubblefield was dynamic early in the game in the first quarter. It looks like they're going to go back to him to see if he can help create a spark.
65 yards in the air, the interception that came when he was hit as he threw on that first drive of the game. Handoff to Smith, who's driven backwards. Dropped by DJ Harris, the grad student from Houston, Texas.
And Chucky, I have to mention, like, the quarterback position to me is one of the most important positions for confidence. You got to have guys back there. Everyone I played with, from Brady Quinn to Kyle Orton in the NFL, Matt Schaub in the NFL, they all were very confident in what they were doing. They were not worried about making a mistake, getting worried about pulled out. So I just think sometimes in these situations when you have two guys, sometimes you just got to select one and let them go to make sure that they get an opportunity to build their confidence.
Stubblefield throwing over the middle, and it's batted down at the last second. Deshaun Rucker in coverage, returning starter in his second year in Tampa. Maria's got more on the offensive coordinator for South Carolina State, Jonathan Williams.
Well, he told us, guys, that it's a big part for him to be able to instill confidence in both Atkins and Stubblefield, because neither of them have ever been the guy, as we've talked about already. So as a coach, he's always coaching them up so that they're confident in themselves.
He said he is always working with them on the leadership side of things.
Williams wasn't too shabby of a quarterback himself.
False start, number 51, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
SWAC Offensive Player of the Year in 2015. Led the FCS in touchdown passes at Grambling State. Said he was actually competitors with Chennis Berry when Berry was on staff at Southern. So they were opposition at one point. He said it just kind of worked out that he's able to learn under him now. 3rd and 15. Tough spot here for Stubblefield against a defense that likes to bring pressure and force turnovers. Stubblefield throwing away. And a drive that goes nowhere for South Carolina State.
At that time, that defensive line, Josh Salazar and David Lee able to get in, create havoc, force the throw for Stubblefield. And they got into a little bit of a different rhythm here with Stubblefield. When we go back to the first quarter, they were rolling him out, giving him opportunities with his legs. We didn't see much of that in that series. It seemed like they're just out of rhythm offensively since the first quarter.
Punting unit out there, lower line drive kick, and Isaac has plenty of room to field it at the 39, makes a couple miss. Here goes Alvon Isaac, tackled at the 43-yard line to give South Florida great field position for their second drive in this half.
Zane Dunham that time. Pretty much a touchdown-saving tackle right there in the middle of the field. But you see the numbers on Brown there, 168 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that tipped interception. He has had a terrific day so far after a slow start.
His first turnover a week ago at Miami, an interception. They hadn't turned the ball over the first 2 weeks against Boise State and at Florida.
I know he just targeted Nimrod, but he's at the bottom of the screen there, number 2. They'll have one-on-one on the outside.
Handoff on the first play to Nakai Davenport up the middle. Another big play for the Bulls. A first career touchdown for Nakai Davenport, the sophomore running back from Roswell, Georgia.
Well, we talked about the stable of running backs here that the Bulls have. The big play nature, Chucky, of this offense is just terrific. What a luxury to have all these weapons on one side.
Saw Alex Golish give Nakai Davenport a hug after that first career touchdown for the young running back.
Well, watch Jonathan Eccles here, the tight end, number 1. He comes back across the formation after going in motion, and it's that block that creates this gaping hole in the middle of the defense. for Davenport to be able to get up the field. He goes untouched. There's no one in the vicinity whatsoever because of the kick-out block from the tight end. And we've been talking a lot about confidence on both sides. Right now, the Bulls offensively have a lot of confidence that they can make big plays all the way across the board.
Back-to-back offensive plays that have gone for scores of 42 and 43 yards. They have really opened this game up to make it a 28-point lead. We saw a lot of those veteran offensive players for USF congratulating Nakai Davenport. I got to think for a young guy, it's kind of like you're coming of age.
A little bit of a coming out party
in college
for sure.
football. I mean, you remember your first touchdown at Notre Dame?
I do. Yes, I do. Yep, it was at University of Michigan. Or actually, it was at home against Michigan. Shout out to Notre Dame. But it really changes the trajectory of just how you perform and how you compete when you have a little bit of success early.
Something we talked to with Alex Golish about was the closeness of this team. They enjoy each other's successes, and Maria has more on that.
Well, I've been able to see it here this entire game, guys. Every time that somebody makes a big play, as soon as he comes off the field, there's multiple Bulls congratulating him. In addition, when the offense is on the field, you see the defense really fired up for them and vice versa. And so this team just really coming together at the right time.
You know, when we spoke to Coach Golish about his team and this being year 3, one of the things he talked about, specifically with transfers and the guys they have on the field, they can be a little bit more selective about the guys that they bring in, a little bit more particular about who's on this roster. I think that's got to bode well for the connection of these guys.
First play, handoff from Stubblefield, and that might be a loss for KZ Adams on the play.
But Chucky, I go back to that first series, the first few series that we saw for South Carolina State, where they were giving the quarterback Stubblefield options with the football in his hands. They were allowing him to run options, some RPOs. He was able to roll out and pick his poison there. I think they got to figure out how to get back to that to drive the football down the field versus asking Stubblefield to be a pocket passer.
Move him a little bit here, but it's just a handoff to Adams, and there's a big hit coming downhill. Mac Harris again.
He is such an animal in the middle of this defense. Mac Harris had the interception return for a touchdown in the first half and is now making plays in space there, showing you why they rely on him as the heartbeat of this defense. That's a big-time hit.
He's got 9 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, has the interception return for a touchdown, and Maria has more on Mac Harris.
Whether it's on the field, whether it's coaching guys on the sideline, Mac Harris is always yapping, and it's helped this Bulls team.
Nice play by Stubblefield on the move to Soul, who spun down for a first down on 3rd and long.
This time Stubblefield gets forced out from the pressure again. Mac Harris in there. But this is where we saw Ryan Stubblefield have success early in the game, is moving around the pocket and finding wide receivers, being able to improv with the football in his hands. And Nicholas Soul, number 9, he's a guy they desperately want to get more involved in this football game. He's down at the bottom of the screen.
By far their biggest receiver, 6'6", 205 pounds, South Carolina native. And the run game, nowhere to go. Harris on the play.
It's so hard to block Mac Harris there. Jalen Stokes came down from his safety position there to apply a little bit more pressure too. And at some point, if you're South Carolina State, you've got to keep the defense honest by taking a shot. 2nd down in this situation is not a bad option to try one.
2nd and 10 at the 39-yard line, showing pressure, and here it comes off the edge. Picked up by Adams, but just going over the top was Jalen Schuler, that dynamic linebacking duo showing out today for the Bulls.
Not sure what happened to KZ Adams on the point of attack, if he falls down or what, but it looks like he almost closes his eyes at this point of attack. Watch Schuler here come off the edge. Adams has him, just goes low, and too early there. Schuler's able to jump over the top. I mean, as a running back in those situations, Chucky, I've been run over by enough linebackers, but sometimes you just got to get your body in there and take the hit to give your quarterback a little bit more space and an opportunity to get the football down the field.
3rd and 17, long throw from Stubblefield, looking towards Soule. It's actually a decent kind of back shoulder throw. Soule didn't see it quite in time to make the adjustment. Brings up 4th and long.
That was a little bit of a missed opportunity. You have to think the pressure on Stubblefield there caused him to underthrow the football as he hobbles off a little bit. Just did not get enough on this pass to get it out to Soule. He was open. The back shoulder throw would have been good out there against Ben Knox for the Bulls. But South Florida gets off the field on defense.
Play clock to 25 seconds. It will start on my signal.
Alvon Isaac stands at his own 30-yard line to retrieve this punt from Elliot Janish. South Florida got there! And this should be a walk-in touchdown. It is! Scooped up by Ashton Mosley, the sophomore Florida native, and walks it in for a touchdown.
And it looked like Jalen Stokes, number 21, is the one who blocks this. Watch him come through the middle of this. There's no one in front of him. He gets that right arm over to get his hand on the football, but a complete miss in protection by South Carolina State on the punt team.
That is as firm of a right hand as you can put on a punt right there.
We have seen the kicking game be a big problem for South Carolina State all year, and those problems continue here today.
Gramatica connected on the extra point. It is 42-7. South Florida has already matched their first half points total in under 6 minutes in this second half.
Well, I think, too, part of when we spoke with Coach Golish, one of the things that was apparent was that he feels like they got enough of the right guys in, enough of the nucleus of this team to create that culture and that identity. And one of the ways you see that, Chucky, is in special teams. It's in the kicking game because you have so many guys playing well together. That's how it sometimes come out and can show you that you have the right nucleus of guys is in the kicking game when you have the right guys on the field. So you got to feel the energy in the room right now for U.S. They look good.
It's got to feel good. You had that gauntlet of a 3-game slate to start the season. They come out of that fantastic. 2-1, wins at Florida against a ranked Boise State team here in week 1. You lose last week to Miami, who is one of the best teams in the country,
no doubt,
without a doubt. But to come out the way you have, specifically in this second half, lead by 35, this one's got to feel good.
Well, also, too, the adversity. We saw them come out and play slow. They did not have a fast start in this game in that first quarter. Since the middle of that first quarter into the second quarter, they have turned things around in all phases of the game, and it has shown well in an explosion. 35 unanswered points.
Year 3 for Alex Golish, who said, year 1, that's about establishing your processes, your standards for everything in the program. Year 2, you're kind of asking, am I right? Is this the way to do it? And said, year 3, you're raising the standards. You kind of keep your thumb on all of that. But he said he's able to focus or shift his focus a little bit more to the inner workings of this team. Said he spends more time with the defense, more time with the special teams.
And that's what's interesting for him is that was not the case in year 1. He was having to spend so much time on the offense. But you see now they got that rolling in a big-time way.
Evan Lee makes the stop on that first down play, along with Rodney Hill.
You see the second half scoring drives here for the Bulls. 6 plays, 96 yards. That passing touchdown and that big running touchdown from Davenport. Also the blocked kick for a TD.
They've barely had the ball. They're averaging 5 points per minute of time of possession right now.
Incredible.
A defensive touchdown, a special teams touchdown. That is the shifty freshman Mason Pickett Hicks, 5'8", 162-pound running back from Rock Hill, South Carolina. He is a spark plug for South Carolina State.
And that's only his second or third touch of the game. They told us that they really want to give Pickett Hicks some opportunities with the football in his hands. Right now, they're in a third down situation. We've been talking about Nicholas Soul, number 9. He's way out to the bottom of the screen. They like to feature him in one-on-one situations.
Johnny Jones moving around. Still that bunch formation to the near side and lobbed up and pretty much thrown away by Stubblefield. He was actually expecting the intended target to turn upfield. He was a little bit upset.
And that looked like a miscommunication between the quarterback and the running back. I mentioned Mason Pickett Hicks. He's just a freshman. Like he might have thought he was running a flat route. And Stubblefield thought he was supposed to be running a wheel route. Watch Stubblefield look to the left. He's expecting him to keep going upfield. Hicks is a little slow to turn upfield. You see the frustration there from Stubblefield with the miscommunication.
This punt is away. Spiraling kick down inside the 30, fielded by Isaac. Goes around one, shoots downfield, and here goes Alvon Isaac. Trying to cut it back, and he's dragged down from behind. Around the 30-yard line, another touchdown saving tackle, and there's an injured player back near midfield for South Carolina State.
Antoine McCree that time, number 89. He's the one who had the touchdown saving tackle in that play. Looks like it's a South Carolina State player that's down. I'll try to speculate here.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 54, return tee, 15-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Amer is the one that is flagged for that illegal block. We'll be back in just a minute. 42-7. Look at the top right of your screen at the 50-yard line. There's going to come into the screen. Jordan Dollard is going to get leveled.
Just lit up there, yeah. Blindside block. That's a newer rule on special teams where a guy's coming upfield. He can't see the contact coming his way. It's illegal now to hit guys. See Dollard able to walk over on his own strength, which is positive, but aimer that time with the big hit, the big illegal hit there.
So it brings the return that was to the other side of the 50 back to the 35-yard line of South Florida. Byron Brown trying to lead another quick touchdown drive. That was a little bit awkward to Alvon Isaac, who was the return man, and they're going to end up losing about 3 yards on the play.
Yeah, it looked like Byron Brown thought Isaac was going to go inside of him. It didn't happen, so they had the collision.
Quick play. Brown looking downfield and going to throw a little bit shorter on the sideline to the 45, and a big gain here for Nimrod, who skips along the sideline all the way to the 22.
He had a couple of options on that one. He was looking for Smith down the sideline. Trailing one-on-one, was able to go through his progressions and get back to Nimrod. A big pickup, and this is where they've really hurt South Carolina State defensively, is by keeping that tempo after big plays. They know some of these defenders are gassed.
Nimrod has a 42-yard touchdown, now a 56-yard catch. Nimrod looking for the end zone again, and he will score. Byron Brown and Chaz Nimrod on the same page today. Nimrod didn't have a touchdown entering this weekend, has 2 for South Florida today.
And it's really the tempo that have changed things, but Nimrod has just turned into quite the target for Byron Brown. This is one of the first plays in the second half where he gets that first catch and is able to get it all the way up, and then the touchdown against Marcus Samuel. Samuel's got turned around a little bit there, but you see the guys huffing and puffing for South Carolina State. They're just winded. This offense right now, Chucky, for the Bulls is just moving too fast and too efficiently for South Carolina State to keep it close.
It's been an explosive offense, a record-breaking offense. Even Byron Brown had 12 program records entering this season, a lot of those coming back in 2023. He was one of the guys that have been at South Florida since before Alex Golesh took over. There's some other big names on this list. Some of their best players Golesh was able to retain, and they've been a part of this upswing that this program is on right now.
Yeah, including Byron Brown. He's one of those guys. He has been fantastic. But what I love is they're spreading the football around. Nimrod's got 4 catches. Porter has 4 catches. Singleton has 4 catches. This makes this offense so dynamic. A year ago when they had Sean Atkins, you would see them force the football to him. He'd have so many targets and so many receptions, they wouldn't spread it around. But when you have the luxury of a number of different guys, it's just really tough for any defense to stop.
Their last 4 touchdowns, 59 seconds, 8 seconds, the blocked punt, so nothing on that drive, and then a 56-second drive right here.
Point total and average per minute continues to increase. My goodness.
First and 10 at the 25-yard line for South Carolina State. Where do they stand right now? Down 42 points. What are you trying to get out of this last 21 minutes of this game?
Well, the big thing is, you know, we talked a little bit about the quarterback situation, as we're going to see Billy Atkins coming back in now. I think that's where some of the mistakes really lie for this offense is switching in between the 2 quarterbacks. Yes, this game is out of reach. Yes, this game is getting further away from you.
Out to Fields, who is spun around on the outside by Kawan Banks, and he doesn't go anywhere.
I think you have to try to figure out how to stick with one quarterback at the helm, because it's such a confidence boost. You see Billy's numbers here, 66 yards, no touchdowns. Again, he's the more pocket passer type. They don't ask him to run around as much as they do with Ryan Stubblefield.
2nd and 10, 2 receivers each side for Atkins. Fields in motion. Atkins pumps that way. He will throw it out to Fields, who drops it. And that will be an incomplete pass. If you think back to the opening drive of this game, South Carolina State and Ryan Stubblefield drive down 60 yards. Stubblefield gets hit as he throws, pick 6 for 93 yards. Not long after that, they had a pick of their own of Byron Brown, but it gets called back due to a penalty. The point swing in this game, 21, maybe 28-point swings on just 2 plays.
Yeah, just a couple plays. And we saw, too, just with South Carolina State hurting themselves with a couple of penalties on defense and offense to extend the drives for the opposition. So they haven't helped themselves in a really tough situation to be on the road anyway. And I think the quarterback shift for them is still creating a lot of problems offensively.
3rd and 10. Great protection there, and the throw a little bit behind the intended target for Atkins. Looking at Darius Thompson.
Still unable to get any rhythm going. And you have to understand, like, Chucky, we're in week 4. Many teams try to make that decision well before the season starts. So to go a quarter of the season and still not know which guy you're going to hand the reins to, you see how that can just create problems offensively with rhythm and momentum and snap counts. At some point, you just got to live with one of them and move forward in that direction so everyone can kind of huddle around them and they can build some confidence.
Isaac from the 32, and Isaac nearly walked through this punt coverage, and he's finally knocked down by the punter, Elliot Janish.
You got to give Janish some credit here. Sometimes in these big situations, you see the punters not get themselves involved, but not Janish. Watch 37 here. Doesn't make a textbook tackle, but gets that shoulder in there to get him down just enough. You have to send him to some of those DB drills and linebacker drills to bring your pads, bring your arms. A little bit of a wrap up there, but he did enough to save the touchdown.
I think that was Isaac on the sideline in disbelief. He let the punter take him down.
That's one of those where in the film room and after the game, some of your buddies are going to give you some shots there.
Yeah, I think we've seen the last of Byron Brown for the day. This is the backup, Gaston Moore. It's a great story. Hands it off on the first play, and USF breaks off another big one. Sam Franklin, the grad student from Little Rock, Arkansas, his first touchdown as a member of South Florida.
The speed of this offense and the conditioning of this offense, I think, has really been the difference in the second half. This explosion is all predicated on going fast and up-tempo. Watch this offensive line create this big seal to the left of that formation to give Franklin the opportunity to take it the distance. This is the second big touchdown, Chucky, that we've seen where the running back really doesn't get touched by anyone. You've got all these green bodies up front able to get to the edge, and the big-time blocking from the wide receivers on the edge as well paves the way for Franklin to take it the distance.
That drive went for 8 seconds.
Keep up in one every single drive. Wow. Now, when you look around the American Conference, Chucky, a lot of good offenses. We saw North Texas last week. They put on a clinic. They looked good last week. I have to think that this is one of the most dynamic offenses in the American at the moment, just in that they've got all the options at wide receiver. We saw Eccles have his first touchdown today from the tight end position, so now they've got a tight end that they can weave into it. They've got a plethora of running back options to choose from, and we've seen a couple of big runs from some of the young guys, including Davenport and the senior there, Franklin. But like, this offense is really built in a way that can cause a lot of problems defensively on how do you slow this down, especially when they do tempo.
Another touchback sent into the end zone by Chase Leon. 56-7. This was a 21-7 game at halftime. We aren't even 10 minutes into the third quarter, and South Florida's starting to flex their muscles here in week 4.
It just shows you how quickly it can get away from you if you're not careful, no matter who you are in this game going against South Florida. But there was a lot of positives. We still got a lot of football left, but there was a lot of positives that happened for South Carolina State coming into this game and starting this game. Just think some of the changes that they made and some of the decisions they made certainly didn't help themselves to keep this close.
Fields breaks a tackle, spins forward, and finally, after a gain of 16, Casey Fields is brought down. Much needed first down for the Bulldogs.
And in addition to that, giving their defense a little bit of an opportunity to figure out how to stop the bleeding defensively. Putting together a big long drive on offense helps that defense get some rest, and they can make some changes on the sideline to keep this thing rolling. But this was a tough task for South Carolina State coming into this game, specifically after playing South Carolina a few weeks ago. To get back on the road to play another FBS team, you're just asking a lot of these student athletes.
Another handoff going left side and a loss of 1. A lot of rotation right now for South Florida defensively.
And Chucky, just kind of going back to the schedule for South Carolina State.
Defensive player.
As we have a defensive player down for South Florida. If we can't get a look at who that might be on the ground for them. Looks like it could be Jacob
Merrifield.
Looks like it could be him, for
That
sure.
Student from Georgia.
One of those guys they got in the portal.
Take a look at him. It's one of those games where there's a lot of football to be played and you're crossing your fingers. None of this
Yeah, you
starts
definitely
to
want
happen.
to see this, for sure. And that is Merrifield.
Good to see him walking off pretty firmly under his own power.
Well, if you're South Florida, these are the moments where you start to try things. You start to allow young players to come in and you dial up some stuff that you've been wanting to see. Every coach has a partial section of their playbook where they're like, this is the stuff we haven't tested fully yet. For South Florida, this is a perfect opportunity to bring some of that out, to see it in live action, even if it is without the starters in the game.
2nd and 11 at the Bulldogs' own 40-yard line. Plenty of time for Atkins. Strong throw is off the hands of his intended target, Cyrus Ellison, and then kind of batted around in the secondary. Jonas DeClona in the area.
They've been trying to figure out how to get Ellison more involved in the game plan because he's such a great pass catcher from his tight end position. Lots of bodies, lots of green jerseys up there, including Ashton Mosley for South Florida, to set up a 3rd down situation.
3rd and 11, South Florida showing pressure on the outside. Here comes the heat. Atkins steps up and the pocket collapses around Billy Atkins. Rodney Hill was one of the Bulls in on the play. There is a flag on the field.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 93, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's Richard Scott, a freshman defensive end from Fort Lauderdale.
You got Richard with the hands in the face there. Not surprised they pull you out after that one. Here's Rodney Hill. Watch him going against Casey Fields. This is one-on-one. This is textbook running back versus linebacker, pass pro. And we see Fields just whiff. We've seen the technique issue for both running backs that have been in the game. Casey Adams first, and now Casey Fields, where guys just dive to the floor instead of trying to one-up on the linebacker. That is a technique problem in pass pro.
Sure, Atkins looked like he turned to hand that off and nobody was there. There's another flag on the field.
Illegal formation. 5 in the backfield offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There were 5 guys back there, and Atkins wanted to hand it to somebody. Nobody was there.
He was like, please, somebody please, help me out here.
You were taking it out of your quarterback's hands, whether they wanted to give it to you or not.
Slap it down from Brady Quinn's hand.
Yeah. Brady Quinn dropped back for a pass, and you were tearing it out of his hand.
Give it up. My goodness.
1st and 15 in midfield.
And you see the penalties here. South Carolina State 8 for 50. Just not a clean game for a well-coached team.
Caught near the sideline. Not much doing for Darius Thompson. 4 yards back on the play to set up 2nd and 11.
And I think for Billy Atkins here, again, opening up the playbook to give him an opportunity. They're still trying to figure out who their starting quarterback is. We've seen both guys play today. Atkins is 12 of 17 for 70 yards, and Stubblefield is 7 of 14 for 84 yards. So the numbers similar for both guys.
Pressure coming. Atkins kind of fell away from it. It's behind Ellison. Brings up 3rd and long.
Lots of color in his face there from the opposition, but trying to figure out who the starting quarterback is going to be. If it's me, in this moment, they've got Atkins in the game. He's the pocket passer. They got to give him an opportunity to stretch the field and throw this football. One of the things they haven't done with Nicholas Soul is give him an opportunity in one-on-one matchups just to play jump ball against a shorter secondary defender. Could be worth exploring here.
Atkins looking the other direction, going over the middle to Fields, and he's got a 1st down. They pick up 12 yards on 3rd and 11 to move the chains.
This is a matchup that they want. Casey Fields, the running back, one-on-one against Rodney Hill, the Mike backer. If you're a running back in that situation, I used to always love when they would call a pass play and the defense is in one-on-one and you're one-on-one with a linebacker. Every running back has to believe that they will win that matchup. Casey Fields did on that one.
Man in motion, they're going to hand this off up the middle and nowhere to go. Julian Milligan.
So many green jerseys in there, including Rodney Hill and Ashton Mosley, number 33. Looks like we got another guy down.
This is Moses Umorin, the left tackle for the Bulldogs. I'll take a look at him, and this 3rd quarter has been all about the Bulls, Darius.
Yeah, really, South Carolina State has not helped themselves, but the tempo specifically for South Florida has been the difference here, particularly in the 3rd quarter. So we saw Brown get started quickly. We're throwing this deep ball all the way out to Nimrod for his score. And then we saw Davenport with the big touchdown up the middle. Goes untouched all the way, and then the blocked punt. Able to pick it up, put more points on the board, and then Nimrod said he wasn't done. Hit you with that fade route on the outside, scores a touchdown. Followed up by Sam Franklin with another big run, explosive run in the backfield for South Florida.
That's how we got to 56-7.
That's just textbook. I mean, when you look at those highlights, Chucky, mixing it up with the pass and run and a lot of different guys getting opportunities and contributing, it's just tremendous. Let's go down to Maria. Maria, your thoughts?
Well, Darius, you just talked about the tempo and the speed of the offense, but as I've been down here on the field, the thing that's really stood out to me is the tempo and speed of the defense as well. The South Florida Bulls are just getting to the football so quickly, and I know we had talked yesterday about the physicality of this defense. You can hear the hits even when you're far away, so the Bulls just bringing some brute force against South Carolina State.
Alex Golish talks
Great
about
point.
that, playing more violently than their opponent. Said he felt like they did that in the first 2 weeks. Speaking of violence, there are a lot of bodies around Atkins to bring him down in the backfield. Another South Florida sack.
Well, I tell you, I was just really impressed when we spent time with defensive coordinator Todd Orlando for South Florida. He's a guy with loads of experience. As we take a look at this play, so many bodies there, green jerseys there for South Florida. But Todd Orlando, tons of experience as a defensive coordinator. And when you have that pedigree, it's so easy to impress upon it with your defense and your team, because guys look at it and say, if this guy's been coaching as a defensive coordinator over 30 years, he's got to know what he's talking about.
Atkins standing tall, and that is a big-time throw and a big-time hit at the end of it, down to the 14-yard line. Moved the chains, but Damon Cherry paid for it at the end.
He sure did. It's a nice job by him of coming in on that post route, knowing he's going to take a shot. Boy, did he get one from Cedric Hawkins, number 23 for South Florida. It looks like that might be the close to the third quarter.
And a rough third quarter at that for South Carolina State.
They're ready to get out of here on that one for sure. Well, we've got a big stretch lead for South Florida. They're up 56-7. We'll have the fourth quarter when we come back.
Alex Golish keeping his team locked in as we go to the fourth quarter in a third frame that was all USF. 35-0 in that third quarter. They outgained South Carolina State 201 yards to just 62. That came on just 10 plays of offense.
Now, you could be wondering why he's so fired up. And part of the reason why is because these are moments where guys get injured because they're not going full speed. So he's trying to ensure that his guys are still playing through the whistle, playing tough football to ensure that maybe folks don't get injured, as that can happen sometimes in this game. So you got to keep your team fired up and in it.
Atkins on the first play going out to Fields, who dives ahead to the 4-yard line. Casey Fields is the lone touchdown scorer in the game for South Carolina State. Tackled by Cedric Hawkins.
This quarterback situation for South Carolina State, I know they came in today trying to make sure that they figured out if they could find a starter. To me, they just have more questions. They leave right now with more questions as to who should and who's going to be QB1 for them moving forward.
We saw last week, Ryan Stubblefield got hot. They stuck with him pretty much the whole game against Bethune-Cookman. Threw for almost 300 yards last week. Ran for a couple touchdowns, threw one as well. Hand off to Fields, he's dragged down immediately. Jabari Smith making the stop.
And that's exactly what Coach Golish was telling his guys. To play again through the whistle. Watch Smith come from the edge of that defensive line. Not messing around at all for this defense. Maria mentioned it, the tempo for them defensively and the speed of the game defensively. That closing speed, second to none right now for South Florida.
3rd and an inch. Handoff up the middle for Fields, who is stuffed, but he might have just passed the 5-yard line, which, will it be enough? This actually, it looks like it's gonna be 4th down.
Xavier Hamilton there, the linebacker, number 25, was the first one on the defense to get there to make the stop. It's a 4th down here. Watch him, he's gonna knife inside. He's the first one at the point of the attack there. Doesn't give an inch. Nice open field tackle.
It's that big backfield set. Handoff to the big man up the middle, and they got it this time. To the 4-yard line goes Kevon Chisholm, the defensive lineman at 260 pounds.
There's a new wrinkle that they've been testing, handing the football off to Chisholm.
Another player down for South Carolina State.
Looks like number 55.
This is Keondae Marsh, the right guard.
Don't want to speculate here. They hand this off. Good push up front from South Florida to try to slow this down. Hawkins was there. Lots of green jerseys in there. Not enough push, though. This is the thing that's unfortunate for South Carolina State. We've seen a couple of offensive linemen go down. First it was Moses Umorin, the left tackle, and now Marsh at the right tackle position. So both tackles having some issues. Going to make it a little bit tricky looking ahead for them schedule-wise. We talked a little bit about that game last week against Bethune-Cookman.
On
they
the
exploded,
road.
yeah, with some offense themselves, but looking forward.
3 of their next 4 are away from home. Charleston Southern next Saturday. Savannah State, the lone home game over that stretch. But the big one to look out for this, South Carolina State, the preseason favorites in the MEAC. They get the team that finished one first-place vote behind them in the preseason poll, NC Central, on the road at North Carolina Central. Second to last week in the regular season.
Not to mention Norfolk, they've got a new head coach there, and Michael Vick. And also Delaware State with Jason Jackson, so lots to be excited about in the MEAC. But a tough schedule looking ahead for South Carolina State, and again, those questions at quarterback make make it even more so tricky in moving forward with the type of identity you want to establish. Right now, Atkins, 15 to 22, 119 yards. We haven't seen him use his legs much because that's just not his game. He's not a guy who gets outside and will extend plays. That's where Stubblefield has made his mark. But I have a lot of questions, Chucky, as to which way they're going to lean at the quarterback position moving forward.
Handoff in the end around. You could hear that hit up in the press box. Some big contact. Xavier Hamilton made the hit. Oh, DJ Harris.
Jermaine Dallas is in there too. And you have to credit head coach Alex Golish for getting in front of his defense to tell them, hey, we need to make a stop now. You guys need to play through the whistle. And we're seeing the effort still on full display for South Florida despite the score in this game.
3rd and goal. Atkins throwing into the flats toward Fields and fighting. He's going to get to the 2-yard line, and it'll be 4th and goal.
Rico Nickel, number 44, the linebacker. It's an incredible job of spying Fields out of the backfield to get him down to force a 4th down. Now we saw South Carolina State bring Chisholm in that big formation and hand the football off to him. They don't have him in the game at the moment. They're going to stretch out.
Rocco Nickel and company looking for a stop here at the 2-yard line. Atkins rolling to his right, looking for options. Great coverage in the end zone. The throw is incomplete, and that South Florida defense holds to start the 4th quarter.
And this is just an incredible defensive play, a team defensive play from South Florida. We saw Alex Golish get his team pumped and excited to continue to play. They went all out on defense to make a stop.
Big day for Byron Brown and this South Florida offense. 14 of 20, 236 yards, 4 touchdowns for the talented senior quarterback from Raleigh, North Carolina. And he gets to sit back and watch this offense go to work now.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that tip pass, he would have been clean on the day. That was the one miscue for him, that one interception. But what a dynamic day he has had as a signal caller for South Florida. See the numbers there, 4 touchdowns, 236 yards. Thought he was decisive with his reads today too. Didn't force things. Solid day from the young man.
Gaston Moore on the field at quarterback for South Florida. Grad student from Hilton Head, South Carolina, hands it off up the middle, and they will go nowhere on that first down play. And let's go down to Maria on a great story of how Gaston Moore got to South Florida.
Well, Gaston Moore got in the portal, and he said if he wasn't going to go to Autonomy 4 conference team, he probably wasn't going to play football anymore. Well, Bryce Archie, the backup out of South Florida, ended up signing a pro baseball contract. So Alex Golish had known Gaston Moore from his time at Tennessee, and he said, look, Gaston, I really need you here. Gaston wasn't sure of it. Eventually, Alex Golish convinced him. Gaston ended up here a week before camp, and he has been a huge addition to this Bulls offense.
Alex Golish said there was one guy in the country that could come in here and understand this offense. He said the verbiage is a little bit different from what we did at Tennessee, but the system and the setup and things, he understands the principles of this offense, so it was an easy fit for Gaston Moore.
I mean, they convinced him on a Friday, and by Tuesday, he was in class in South Florida. And what a luxury to have a guy with that kind of experience to help mentor Byron Brown. That's one of the things I was impressed with. They told us about Gaston Moore and Byron Brown, their relationship, how close these guys are, and how helpful leadership-wise Gaston Moore has been to have his presence and leadership in the locker room.
Quick 3 and out, and they were backed up against their own goal line. Punt goes out of bounds, and South Carolina State will get it on the South Florida side of the 50-yard line. 9:13 to play in the fourth quarter. All Bulls.
Timeout.
South Florida. Look at this. This is going to be 2027 for them, opening a new on-campus stadium. These are some of the renderings they've done. We got the chance to kind of see the very beginning stages of this magnificent stadium that's going up on campus. It's going to be the 4th largest American Conference stadium once it's finalized for that 2027 season. So a number of the players on this roster right now could be a part of the first team to play at that facility. But what a step up for South Florida, who is on the rise under Alex Golesh.
You look around this conference too, just the investment that the university has made in football and in its facilities. That's what really matters to aspiring 18, 19-year-old student athletes wanting to come out. As you look at the numbers here of the capacity. But that stadium, the facilities, it's a difference maker in the American.
And a nice selling point when you're competing for big-time high school talent and transfer portal talent who maybe is from the state of Florida. Pass incomplete on 2nd down to bring up 3rd and 9. This is year 1 of the play next year at Raymond James Stadium as well. This is not super close to campus. Good 25-minute drive to South Florida's actual campus where that new stadium will be. And the folks here in Tampa, they're going to flip this stadium probably as soon as this game ends. Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Jets tomorrow at 1 Eastern.
I saw some folks already getting ready to pull some of these things down. Maybe peel a cornerback somewhere on a sign. Get that thing ready.
Caught along the sideline. There's a flag down in the vicinity of that play. See what the whistle is. They have moved
There's
the ball
no foul
down to
for
the
defensive
17.
pass interference. The result of the play is 1st down.
What a throw and catch down the sideline for South Carolina State.
They needed this earlier in the game here. Look at this contested catch over the top. Nice concentration there to be able to reel that football in.
6'2" Darius Thompson said his name a couple times in this second half. Thompson in motion, handoff going the other direction, and a lot of space to run for South Carolina State to get back in the end zone. Julian Milligan, the redshirt junior from Columbia, South Carolina, scores.
That's a big-time play from a young football player there. Taven Ford, number 72, the offensive tackle. He's the one that opened up the floodgates there. Watch him to the right of this screen, number 72. He's going to peel out and just push the defensive end to the outside. That creates the space for the 6 points.
Holder had to run on late there for South Carolina State. There's only 4 seconds to get this snap off for Nico Cabanillas-Alti. Job done. 8:02 to play in the 4th quarter, and SC State back on the board. Milligan running that one in for their 2nd touchdown of the game. South Florida's offense got it rolling today after a little bit of a slow start. Byron Brown, their senior quarterback, spreading the love. Jonathan Eccles had the first one. Chaz Nimrod's been in on a couple. That was Josh Porter, the sophomore's first ever touchdown. Nimrod and Brown starting to have quite the relationship at quarterback and wide receiver right now. Byron has been all smiles, relaxing on the sideline. 14 of 20, 236, 4 touchdowns. The one interception was off the hands of a receiver on a little bit of a high throw. Short kick fielded at the 19-yard line. A little space to the near side of the field, but the tackle made at the 22. That's where South Florida takes over. And we'll see Gaston Moore again. We talked about his journey to South Florida. Got here about a week before fall camp started. It's been all about the chemistry that he has also added, not just to the team, but specifically to the quarterback group, and Maria has more on that.
Well, this entire game, even when Byron Brown was in the game, Gaston Moore was on the sideline just cheering him on. In addition, the two have had conversations with each other, and they also throw back and forth with each other to keep themselves warm during the game. So just really pushing each other to be better football players.
Yeah, Alex Golish told us that both of them kind of how great it is. It said if Gaston was going to back anyone up, he would tell you he'd want to do it with Byron Brown, and said if you ask Byron how important Gaston has been to him this season, he would rave about the transfer's impact. Gaston Moore was working. He was back home working a real job when he decided to give it one last go and come to South Florida for Alex Golish and Joel Gordon, their offensive coordinator. Help orchestrate an offense that Golish implemented to great success at Tennessee in a couple of years there as offensive coordinator. This time Corey Pettigrew, a freshman from Kathleen, Georgia, and Perry High School, with his first career catch. Was a state champ as a junior at Perry High School. First and 10 at the 46-yard line. Play action pass for Moore. Gets hit as he throws. He's looking downfield toward Jeremiah Koger, but there was pressure on the defensive line for South Carolina State. 6:40 to play in the fourth quarter. South Florida trying to finish this out. They would improve to 3-1 on the season. Saw a big win for the American Conference last night. Tulsa in an in-state matchup with Oklahoma State. Here's a big run and another long touchdown for South Florida. Sam Franklin for the second time today. Speaking of the state of Oklahoma, Sam Franklin was a Sooner last year. He's on his third school now, spent one season in Norman. He's got his first couple touchdowns as a Bull. He's running away from the defense after a couple good cuts. Shades of Darius Walker on that play.
You know, I will take that. That is quite the compliment there. Can't take anything away from Franklin on that run, though. He's one of those guys, a part of this 4- or 5-hit monster at running back for South Florida. Nice job with the patience on the outside, making a guy miss with this spin move, and then showing you he's got the wheels to take it the distance. This whole team is having quite a bit of fun here on offense. No matter who's in the game at this moment.
Even the backup kicker, Adam Zuaji, the extra point there.
You see the scoring drive there. 5 plays, 68 yards, minute and a half, 54-yard touchdown run from Sam Franklin.
Speaking of potentially massive wins for the American Conference, how about Memphis right now? Sutton Smith just ran it in for a 64-yard touchdown. They're up 1 against Arkansas.
A lot happening in the American.
Late in the 4th quarter in Memphis. What a win that could be for them. Tulane, Ole Miss today. That's a big one to watch.
Yep.
A lot of people like Tulane to give Ole Miss a run for their money in that game. So you're already looking at potentially 2 power conference wins if Memphis can hold on. We've already seen what South Florida's done to start this season. .6:28 to play in the 4th quarter. Similar to kind of South Florida after their 3 games, or yeah, their first 3 games. They get off to a 2-1 start. For South Carolina State, you mentioned it, they already played South Carolina. This is their second FBS opponent in their first 4 weeks. For Chennis Berry and company, it's a chance to kind of turn the page after what has been a disappointing outing today. But now you're going to get back into conference play, and this is a team that expects to win a lot of football games in the next couple months.
And coaches are all about the positives. What are the positives for South Carolina State here? I think positive-wise, they were really physical to start this game. So you talk about the physicality of this game and being able to take that to the MEAC. That's something positive that they can take away, that they know how to play tough and sound football. But are there things they need to correct? Absolutely. I think the mistakes and hurting themselves in the game, they certainly got to figure out how to fix that. That's something you can correct pretty quickly there in terms of the mental errors.
Penalties.
But some positives, yeah, the penalties were an issue.
And special teams, too. I mean, I think at some point you just wonder on the punting, do you start punting those out of bounds? Or at least attempting to. In some, obviously, you don't want to kick it 20 yards, but there's a serious problem there right now.
Just give up in the punting game. Oh my goodness!
When you think about like in the NFL,
that's a tough pill to swallow
what
for
people
coaches,
used to do to like Devin Hester and some of these great returners, you just don't kick it to them. Now, you're not necessarily avoiding a great returner, but you've got some serious problems on the special teams right now.
Yeah, no, they do have a lot of issues in the kicking game. And it's basically a lot of like guys staying in their lane. I think that goes back to the mental errors that have happened in this game in addition to the penalties. Just the kick coverage. They got a lot of guys floating around from their spots, and that's, again, it's a technique thing to stay in your lane. It's a coaching thing to stay in your lane. So that kind of stuff can get fixed as well. But you're right. The kicking game for them has been an issue through 4 weeks. They need to get that fixed in a hurry.
You do feel like the guy to fix it is Chennis Berry. I mean, we talked about the discipline, and he's a winner. Wherever he has been a winner. Incomplete pass on 3rd and 2. Looks like we'll see the punting unit again for South Carolina State with under 5 to play in the 4th.
I think for South Florida, it's just been wonderful team performance here. We talked a little bit about their game against Miami a week ago. Certainly wasn't the productivity that they were looking for. So to come back and to bounce back after that with a performance after a slow start, it's just the makings of a good football team that knows how to fight through adversity.
Fair caught by Christian Neptune at the 30-yard line. Talk about some of those big American Conference games that are happening and have happened. The win from Tulsa over Oklahoma State last night in Stillwater. We already saw Rice take down Charlotte on Thursday.
Memphis with the lead there.
Yeah, that's the big one. Is if Memphis can find a way to knock off an SEC opponent in Arkansas, what a win it would be for them and this conference. And then, of course, the Tulane Ole Miss game coming up soon.
And North Texas in a battle there against Army as well. And then later this week, GT going against Temple. BYU also on the schedule there for the American.
Handoff on 1st down for a gain of about 4 yards. South Florida's time of possession is just over 12 minutes today. Their previous lowest time of possession ever was 17 minutes, 43 seconds back in 2001. They can't get to that number, so it's a new program record low in time of possession, and you're going to win by 49 points. Handoff up the middle and another big play. Tackled down at the 40-yard line. Jalen Johnson, junior running back from Baxley, Georgia.
Johnson did a nice job of just finding space inside to pick up some big yardage, but finally able to close the door there for South Carolina State.
On
Beckford there.
Beckford on the tackle.
Defensive end.
Second and 12 at the 41. Moore going to throw it this time out to Neptune. Cuts up field and hit hard by a few white jerseys. Matthew Joins finished the play, freshman defensive back.
Neptune started the past couple of weeks as well. Again, the true freshman. They're expecting big things from him, wanting him to grow and mature while he's in the spotlight.
Flag on the play, some movement up front. South Florida.
Offside, number 95, defense. Enter the neutral zone, tells the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, third down.
South Florida stays home next weekend. They'll host Charlotte, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. But after Charlotte, look at that game on October 10th. I'm sorry, that's in 2 weeks from now. At North Texas, October 10th. That is a big-time matchup. Byron Brown versus Drew Mestamaker at the quarterback spot. Two explosive offenses.
Yeah, and two coaches that preach hard work, dedication, culture, all that stuff. You see the missed throw there from Gaston Moore. Need to make that one.
A much improved North Texas defense this season, which has kind of been one of the game changers for them. The offense has always been there under Eric Morris, but that defense now under new defensive coordinator Skylar Cassidy looks really good.
And Denton is a hard place to win, so that game will be on the road for South Florida. Certainly marking my calendar for October 10th for a big matchup.
There'll be a lot of eyes on that, especially if both of those teams, if South Florida rolls in there with just the one loss, North Texas potentially undefeated in that matchup for a possible representative.
Timeout. South Florida, their first of the half, 30 seconds.
For a group of 5 representative in the college football playoff. How crazy is that? That's the conversation now at South Florida. Alex Golesh, in the 4 years prior to him taking over, the Bulls went a combined 8-37. He won 7 games in year 1 in a bowl game, 7 years in game 2 in a bowl game, and now the expectations, the standards have risen in year 3, and they've got their eyes on much bigger targets.
And not to mention just having to do it with where college football is now, and that's something we haven't touched on much here, but with like the transfer portal and how many new players go from team to team every year, it really makes it more complicated to build a roster the right way. So to come in and to do that at a program that hasn't traditionally won, that means you're having to lean on a lot of new pieces. You're having to make a lot of changes and adjustments there as it relates to it. So he's done a terrific job of manning the ship to put them in the position that he has.
And it's good for the conference as a whole in a league that has a couple teams who are right on the top of the list for the active win streaks in FBS. Memphis at 7, trying to make it 8 right now against Arkansas. Navy up there with 6 in a row. They're the only 2 teams that aren't part of a power conference that are on that list. 4th and 2. More play action pass. And he's going to take off and run it. Knocked out of bounds. Gets plenty to move the chains.
This is one of those things where, from an experience perspective, you want to protect yourself at the end of this play for Gaston Moore. A nice job picking up the first down here, understanding what he needed to do to get to that mark, but save yourself the collision there at the quarterback position.
Dropped that for just a moment, and they were close to getting back in the end zone, but there is a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 47 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Speaking of Texas, that is Chase Garnett, who is from Fort Worth, Texas. True freshman running back for South Florida.
Excited to see them get some opportunities on the field there for sure.
Instead of 1st and goal inside the 5, it's going to be 1st and 20. 245 rushing yards in the second half. What did they tell us in our meetings? We want to run the football this week.
And they really wanted to do that by winning the line of scrimmage. And so in the first half into that third quarter, that starting offensive line has just been dynamic all day. So we're talking about moving things in the right direction. Definitely done that in South Florida.
That's the 2-minute timeout. 1st and 20 for South Florida when we can return. (63-14), 2 minutes to play. Big day for Chaz Nimrod in this South Florida offense. Nimrod, 4 catches, 119 yards. He has been all over the field, getting in the ball in the short routes, throwing it down the field to him. Couple long touchdowns for Nimrod as well, his first 2 as a member of South Florida.
He has just been outstanding all game. They wanted to open it up for Chaz Nimrod here today. Over 100 yards and the 2 touchdowns. But what's been great is just how he's found open space. The route running has been on point. And then Byron Brown has made some excellent timing passes to him. So the sky's the limit for the duo of Brown and Nimrod to continue to grow.
False start. Number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Garrett Gordon Jr., freshman from Reddick, Florida.
I think it's great for some of these young players to get game reps. A lot of these guys are used to participating in the scout team against the 1s and 2s. To give them a chance to grow and develop in live action is always so helpful to do.
What was your first takeaway after your first game at Notre Dame, first time you stepped on the field? What was your thought of college football? What shocked you most or stood out to you?
I probably would say for me, because my first game was against Michigan, so we played, at Notre Dame, we played BYU week 1, lost to BYU, and then had Michigan at home. Michigan was a top 5 team at the time. And so that was my first entrance into college football. And I just remember it felt sort of like familiar in the gameplay, but when I actually watched it when it was over with, I could just tell how the speed of the different players, just how it was different from what I was used to in high school. And so I think when you're in it, it's kind of hard to understand the differences, but when you actually watch it back, it's a little bit more prevalent to know, oh, that defensive end who's 290 pounds can actually run as fast as I can. Like, it's just, it's different.
501 total yards of offense for South Florida, 249 rushing yards, 252 passing yards. You want to talk about balance, and then there's a gain of about 3 yards to even things up at 252 apiece.
They've truly been dynamic in all facets of the game. A complete win here for South Florida.
Moore and company letting the clock tick down in what should be the final play of this game.
Well, when you look at the schedule for South Florida, winning against Boise, which was a top 25 team at the time, and then beating Florida, and then losing to Miami last week, and then to perform this way, just the ebbs and flows of college football are always so interesting in that you can't get too high, you can't get too low. So I think for Alex Golish and company, for South Florida, it's take this win, but also understand that there's still stuff that South Florida's got to clean up. They got to clean up. They had a few miscues in terms of mental errors here on this. You still got to understand in these situations to keep yourself in bounds there for the young football player. But a lot of positives for South Florida coming out of today. But given that game last week against Miami, they understand that you got to make sure you keep an even keel as far as the performance goes, because it can change on a dime.
4th and 23, and movement on the defensive line. No timeout.
Before the play clock expired. Timeout, South Florida, their second of the half, 30 seconds.
It was not the last play of the game, I lied.
Throw an extra one in there for you.
A couple more, maybe. We'll be back in less than 24 hours on this field. Buccaneers, Jets tomorrow. The early kickoff here in Tampa. So a lot of work to be done for the folks at Raymond James Stadium to get this all decked out for the NFL.
This is an exciting time, but going back to the early goings of the season, this was that first game against Boise State. They blocked the punt, had a fake punt there, got the fumble there, and then Singleton made that big play into the end zone for that win against Boise. Then on the road in Gainesville, Singleton again showing you why he's been electric all season. But those were two monster wins to start the season for South Florida. Put themselves in the top 25 for a week as a result.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? They jumped from unranked to 18. They lose to arguably a top 3 team in the country. Miami's actually ranked number 4 in the country right now, but then you fall right back out of it. Do you?
Yeah, it's tough too, because you got a winless team in the top 25 too, which is interesting to say. So again, I think the early ratings and the early preseason rankings are just too overvaluable, because what happens with teams like South Florida and other teams that trying to crack into it, it's hard to overjump folks who were rated so highly preseason-wise earlier in the season.
Couple more plays potentially for South Carolina State. They will run it up the middle and have about 6-7 yards on first down. And that actually might do it. South Florida, after their first loss of the season at Miami last week, with a convincing 3rd win of the year over South Carolina State. And Alex Golish's 3rd season is off to a flying start.
Well, he has to be excited with the play of his quarterback, Byron Brown. 14 of 20, 236 yards passing, the 4 touchdowns and the 1 interception. And you see the record there. The best start since 2018 at 3-1. A couple of wins over top 25 programs. Then a big stretch win here. Let's go down to Maria with Coach.
Mac, you set the tone early with this defense. What is it about the guys on that side of the ball that make them so tough?
We're just relentless, and most of all, we play for each other. We run for each other, we hit for each other. You know, we love each other a lot. You know, we poured a lot into this, each and every single one of us individually. So that's really the biggest part of it.
Your coach called you the vocal leader of that defense. How much responsibility do you feel, especially for those younger guys, to get them going?
I mean, the title is great, but everybody does their part. Everybody plays their role. And, you know, me just being an older guy, I say something when something needs to be said, you know, and you know, them being, you know, great teammates, they listen and they understand, you know, that, you know, the guys on the team who have experience, you know, that we've been through things, you know, so they listen to us. And but everybody has the opportunity to speak.
The offense did their part today as well. What is it like when you're on the sideline watching them, especially with so many different people getting involved today?
We just love seeing them be successful. I mean, like, one of our biggest motivations of getting off the field and getting the ball back is just so they can go out there and be successful. You know, like, offense sells tickets, and we're perfectly fine with that. So we want them to go score as many touchdowns as they can.
How gassed were you when you ran that interception back? It's kind of hot out here, so I got to know, what were you feeling like?
I mean, it was a long drive, so I was a little winded, but I was all right. I was good.
So you're good to go now. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Guys.
Thanks, Maria. Big win for South Florida at their home for the 2025 and 2026 seasons. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. South Carolina State came out strong, but South Florida just too good in the end, and it's a decisive victory for the Bulls. 63-14 is the final. That'll do it for us in Tampa. For my partner Darius Walker, Maria Tribalpiece, Mike Steinberg, Drew Vincent, and our entire crew, I'm Chucky Kemp. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the day of college football.